Stugotz has not done a better job of taking care of himself in a way that concerns me. He was just waving around his breakfast purchased in a gas station. And I will just tell you that this is how it sounds.
Yeah.
It is Little Debbie glazed donut sticks.
Donut stick. Yeah.
Perfect for dunking, 370 calories per package. Not the healthiest way to go. So I've got an unhealthy Stugotz over here, and now Greg Cody is playing hurt. And there's a virus running its way through the Cody family because Chris Cody's out. He's been knocked out entirely. I think he's got hockey hangoveritis. I believe his tongue's been heavy for 2 months, but he claims his daughter's sick, and his grandfather definitely is.
I'm playing tough. I'm playing through it.
Her grandfather. Is,
yes. Good correction. Yeah. Allergies, though, huh? It's that time of year, Greg.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I have an idea.
What?
It's going around. You seen the new variant?
No.
Does your throat feel like razors?
It does not.
All right, then I think you're good. That's what the new variant does.
All right.
We're still talking about variants?
Yeah. No, brother, got it at 11.
There is a new variant, and that is the main symptom. It is COVID plus.
Well, why are you here if you have COVID?
No, it was like a 24-hour thing over the weekend. I'm good. You're fine.
That's what we heard in 2020.
It's a quick variant. It's a quick variant.
But this is COVID plus.
I feel fantastic.
We got to pay for it now?
I'm on NADs.
COVID with razors. Yes, we should have a new streaming service, COVID Plus. We should start that network at Metal Arc Media. We should come out with our own plus, COVID Plus, and it's just Cody's face on it because he doesn't sound good and his eyes are glassy and now his nose is running. And this is straight out of Outbreak because your nose is running and those are some nostrils.
Yeah.
Now, he's got tissues and I've never seen him do that before.
I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, you're looking rough.
Do you think you're going to have to go early? Do you think the show will get decimated in pieces over today because Roy's on vacation? Also,
smart,
hockey hangoveritis.
He worked hard.
And we've got to get to, I really, really think it is the most intoxicating drug there is. The Panthers are going to keep everybody. Like, they're going to be able to also not lose anybody. They're going to be the 1972, 1973 Steelers. The reason, that was the Dolphins.
Yeah.
The Steeler team that won 5 championships won because all 22 starters were the same. It was before free agency.
Right. It was 4 championships. You're talking about Bradshaw and Lynn Swann and Stallworth and Franco Harris and the great Rocky Blyer.
I'm talking. Yes, thank you. Your wheelhouse. I am talking about whenever
little Mike Webster.
They went
Steel curtain.
What is matter? What is the matter with your voice?
Allergies.
The steel curtain.
I'd say get closer to the microphone, but don't.
Okay, sorry.
Right. COVID plus.
I know. Super. COVID super.
Greg, the last 2 weeks, I mean, you've always been bad at the details here, but the last 2 weeks you've forgotten to be near the microphone. Like it's an unusual thing you're doing at the end of your broadcasting career.
Yeah. It's a weakness in technology because by now they should have a microphone that
it moves.
essentially follows you.
No, it moves with you. It moves quietly with you. It's got an arm that could not be quieter that would move with you.
But it doesn't move automatically.
Right.
The technology should be that this apparatus realizes that when I'm here,
it
has to be like that.
Adjust itself.
Right,
yeah.
but it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Old technology here.
You or the mics?
Both.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Dress too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We can't go on, man, forget my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
All right, the show's under it a little bit. I just saw Cody use the same soggy tissue that he had been dabbing his nose with to dab his leaking eyes with, because
boy.
it's the same
No,
tissue.
not
I
the
saw
same
you
tissue.
do it.
No.
I just saw what
I
happened.
realize tissues all look alike, but it's not the same tissue.
Okay, Greg Cody's playing hurt. This is another day of hockey celebration around here because I'm not real clear on how the Panthers get to keep everybody. I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't see anyone predicting that that's what was going to happen. Stugotz is hurting. Have you taken a bite out of one of this? Oh my God!
I had an entire donut stick.
No, but
yeah.
you don't break them apart. These are supposed to be broken apart, are they not?
No, I mean it's my stick, so.
Okay.
Don't tell them how to eat. I mean,
It just seems unhealthy. No.
It is unhealthy, but I was hungry this morning. I stopped at the gas station. I needed gas. I got a pack of tissues for Greg Cody. I got some donut sticks and a pack of heaters for myself.
Okay, so did you stop for the donuts or the cigarettes? How does that happen? Are
The
you
heaters.
stopping? You're stopping for the cigarettes and then
Stumble into the donuts. Yeah.
And so, do you normally get those?
Never gotten them before, and we'll never get them again.
So you just saw donuts and were like, that seems. I'll just have some sugar. I'll chase the smoke with some sugar.
Yes. I mean, the options were Twinkies, Hostess cupcakes, and I went with a donut stick. I mean,
there should be a combo. I think there should be like glazed cigarettes where you smoke half of the cigarette,
Right.
and then you
That's
literally
a good
just
idea.
eat the rest of it.
wow.
That's a good idea.
Kill two birds with one
That's
stone.
good.
Right.
If you're as lazy as Stugotz, something that
One stone's going to kill me.
Tony is back from Vegas, polluted, I'm assuming. Do we have the video of you fighting a legitimate champion fighter?
So here's the thing. We have video of me working out with legendary coach, 3-time coach of the year MMA, Eric Nixick from Extreme Couture. We have Brad Tavares also in the picture helping us work out and stuff. But between you and me, Dan, if you want me to be really honest with you, I think that Brad was watching me hit the bags and was like, you know what? I got something to do after this. I don't know if I can hang out with you and spar you after the workout. I've seen a little bit too much. So there was an issue where he had to go, and I'm not going to say he ran away from me. I'm just telling you he was there, and then I turned my back, and he's disappeared.
Stugotz, you are our most qualified liar here. You are our most.
Well, thank you.
Our most expert liar. When a sentence starts with, if you want me to be really honest with you.
Yeah, he's lying.
What comes after that, is that a tell is what I'm asking you. Like, I'm not even asking you, is that a lie? Because I feel like all of that was obviously a lie. But I'm saying, if that phrase comes out, do you see it as like a poker tell, as another champion liar?
Yes.
Are you like, what's coming next? I know to dismiss. This is going to be a lie. He's telegraphed it. This is an amateur liar.
Yes, you don't need to announce the truth, okay? If I'm telling the truth, if you actually are telling the truth, just tell the truth.
Why wouldn't I want you to be really honest with me? And what would be really honest with me is that you didn't spar this person and we sent you out to Vegas and you didn't return with sparring video after we promised the audience that you were going to fight this guy.
Sure, of course. But when the guy disappears, what do you want me to do? Resurrect him from wherever he went? All of a sudden, Dan, we're finished with the workout. I turn around. He's basically out the door running out. How am I supposed to take that?
You got to follow him and pick a fight.
Yeah.
Billy, what's in your notebook there that you're looking through? Have you
No,
now
it's
started?
just my to-do list that I have. I have to call the dermatologist
God, I love
later,
this.
text a roofer, maybe go to the Marlins game at 6:40. My daughter has gymnastics at 4. It's just what keeps me on track.
It's a
for the
busy day.
Hope
It
you can get a
was,
ticket
and
for
I
that
woke
Marlins
up
game.
and the EP show wasn't on this list, so I have to add that, and I check it off later.
Well, do we believe that Chris Cody has a sick daughter, Greg Cody's granddaughter? If you want to check out the 70-7 Olympics or 7
versus 7.
7 versus 70 Olympics, the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody is a podcast that is occupying that lane alone.
Well, that's next week's episode, I believe. This week's episode, they spoke to
a bacon salesman,
bacon
a letter carrier, and
carrier.
a 68-year-old hitchhiker.
Yeah. 2 years away from being eligible for 7 versus 70.
What a show. I mean,
There is pretty convincing circumstantial evidence that Graceland and Greg are both sick.
I'm going to say, though, that what his show is this week, is a bona fide extravaganza. Did you hear that guest list?
Say it again, please.
Yes.
Because please say it again so
Okay.
that people understand. And this podcast is really the height of Greg Cody's narcissism. What he has done at the end of his career as journalists fight to evolve in a new media space. He has carved out the space of, do you want to listen to the narcissistic ramblings of a senile old man who crushes white hat in the playoffs with his analysis because he is not to be dismissed as a senile old man?
Thank you. Yeah, we speak with a bacon salesman from Minnesota,
So good.
a letter carrier from Queens, New York, and a 68-year-old wandering hitchhiker from Barcelona.
You're a man of the people. This is a man of the people
Yes.
episode.
I'm a man of the people, and I'm a fan of the people.
Right.
I don't believe anybody has an uninteresting job.
The selling of bacon has to be the easiest of sales, no?
I think so. I mean,
Really?
I asked him on because I'm such a bacon fan, and he sells bacon. I mean, what a match made in heaven. We also had on Uncle Dick, who is America's #1 bacon consumer.
Really?
Yeah, so it was a 20-minute confab on America's favorite food, the American food. As we celebrate the 4th of July, no more American food than bacon, so thank you all the pigs that we slaughter to enjoy you.
For those keeping score at home, it is starting to feel more like 4th of July week. We were talking about it earlier. It wasn't feeling like it. Greg, you said you don't think anyone has an uninteresting job.
Yeah.
I discovered a job today that I didn't know was a job.
What's that?
Theme park journalist.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds like a job for you.
It's a job out there. Theme park journalist.
Huh.
It
I
sounds
think
like a
we should-
PR flag.
I think we should create that for you here at
No, it
Meadowlark
exists.
Media. But I think we should create that. I think that you should have that as part of your job titles. Wouldn't you want to? Wouldn't you want to be Meadowlark's theme park journalist?
Billy, take him up on this.
I suppose so.
Get to write off all your trips. Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
Really? Are you kidding me?
I mean, can I...
It's like Disney passes.
He really shouldn't
Well,
be running
so
Dan
can I-
should not be running a company.
Hold on a second. Can I,
I suppose so.
if I have an expense in the past that affects my future theme park journalism, can that be expense?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I don't think that.
No,
I don't think that's
Dan
going to
needs to
pass
learn immediately.
accounting.
You're rolling into the new job?
Like if I'm
Rolling in
Depends.
previous
Like you have
expenses.
previous experience with your new job. You got to talk about Tower of Terror every time you've ever written it. Now you get to write that off.
well, no, like for example, let's say I was. There's no better way to put it than this. Let's say I was suckered into getting Disney passes, and I will then use said Disney passes for my theme park journalism.
Right.
I should be able to expense that.
No doubt.
I would think.
As
Yeah.
a
Going
theme park
forward,
You would
journalist,
think.
No, well,
Going
it's already
forward.
paid for.
he's going to do
It's already
content
been
based
paid
off of his
for.
previous experience. So yes, he gets to
Yeah.
write that off now.
I'll
Great
go
idea,
out
Dan.
there, guys. Just wait for it. I'm going to spar with Mickey Mouse, and then I come back on Monday. No, Mickey left.
Billy, I want to talk about all of this for a second because you were thrust in the EP role at a last minute because Chris allegedly has a sick daughter.
He does.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are you required when you say confab to shake your shoulders the way Cody did while saying confab?
I shook my shoulders.
You did.
Yeah, you did.
Again, I want to go back to what Tony did, where he said, if you really want me to be honest with you, and then told an assortment of what I think are lies. But Billy, I saw your head down when I asked for the Vegas video of Tony, okay? And then I heard a disembodied voice on one of the speakers here. Did you hear what that voice said? What are you laughing about?
No, I heard the voice. It was
All right,
funny
no,
to listen to.
All right, so do you remember what was said? I want to put people in a room with us when I asked Tony, the Vegas video, where is it? And then I hear a disembodied voice that doesn't have there's not a human being in the room.
Right.
This is coming from somewhere else. That person said what? Do you remember what that person said of Tony's video by way of endorsement?
Okay, I don't remember verbatim, but it was something to the effect, I guess you could air it.
So you're talking to the guy that has the most enthusiasm and the guy that has the least enthusiasm, and you're going to go with the guy that has the least enthusiasms point.
Well, I'm going to go with the guy who worked for Craig Ferguson and knows
And he
how
works
to make
here.
funny videos.
And he works here now, so he doesn't work for Craig Ferguson or whoever else you're going to say after. He works here for you.
Tony worked for Ariel Hawani.
Thank you.
Okay.
How about that?
And the mouse.
What does that mean? He works here now.
Because
Right.
Dan is like, oh, he worked at all these places.
I didn't
You're
like the
saying
way
this is
you-
like a
Well,
downgrade.
yeah, you're
or
making it
something.
seem like
what
a
I'm
step
saying
backwards.
is, what I'm saying is
I
he's
don't
not
like
working there
that.
anymore. He's working here.
Kick
Right.
rocks, guy. That was very mean.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to
Confab.
Craig Ferguson?
It's hard to say confab without shaking. Confab.
Confab. You're right.
Confab.
You have to go left to right.
Confab.
Confab.
It's a fun
Right,
word.
yeah.
Confab.
I didn't realize I did that.
Yeah, it was
with my
when you were
shoulder.
feeling yourself because it's 20 minutes of Uncle Dick and your narcissism
Right.
warehouse. So you were like
Okay.
really feeling like, oh, I get to talk about me and promote me.
bacon,
It's why
really.
I'm here.
Yeah,
20 minutes of
bacon.
Uncle Dick. Huh?
Who knew Uncle Dick was the #1 consumer of bacon in the world?
He loves bacon. He puts salt on bacon.
Really?
He makes bacon bombs, which is
Bacon
Oh, bacon bombs.
a bacon bomb is one of the greatest things I've had it. It's
What's
divine.
that?
It's basically a sausage cake wrapped.
We just
in
don't
bacon.
care about talking in the
Yeah.
microphone anymore, huh?
I'm
It's,
sorry.
Well,
it should
painting
follow
a-
him.
I don't know what to
painting a
do about
picture.
it.
Okay,
But
I'm
no,
not
you
know
just
what to
have
do
it
about
one
Painting a
one-on-one
technology
right now.
now.
It'd be
So
like-
is it
He's
sausage or is
getting
it bacon?
worse at doing this.
Sausage wrapped in bacon?
Yeah, sausage and veggies on top of the
Ooh,
sausage.
I could do without that.
No. When I say like onion and jalapeno.
We were supposed to do a sausage and lentil off today, but your son's not here because he's allegedly sick. And
No, his daughter is sick.
Whatever.
That's a fine.
She doesn't drive. He wouldn't let her take an Uber to the doctor, so he's
There's a
sort of-
virus running its way allegedly through the Cody household that doesn't allow Greg Cody's son to do his job. And one of the things that I wanted to do with his son today when I had Greg and this crew in that I can't do now because Chris isn't here is last week, out of nowhere, we're doing show, and Chris reveals for the first time to my knowledge and anyone's knowledge on this show that there's another uncle next to Uncle Dick, and it's Uncle Mike, and he doesn't have an eye. And I learned that last week, and I wanted to put these ingredients together. The one-eyed Uncle Mike I'd
Wait.
never heard about.
It's just spelled MKE.
What?
As an aside, Uncle Mike died about 20 years
It
ago.
doesn't
he
matter.
told us.
It's not the
sad.
point.
RP.
There's a
Yeah.
one-eyed uncle, and we're sitting here talking. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that your Uncle Mike died. I should be more respectful.
You should. He had a three-legged dog, by the way.
Yeah, we
He did mention that too.
What?
That's what we
One
stumbled
eye
into.
and a three-legged
I
dog?
know.
This guy's just surrounded by freaks.
I wanted to put these ingredients together, but your son's not here. Yes, I'm aware that we stumbled with the three-legged dog into one-eyed Mike.
And then another Uncle Richard, who he said, his words, not ours.
Be careful.
Said was kind of a dick. But that Uncle Dick is not one.
Right.
That he's nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Uncle DCK.
Yeah, we loved Uncle Richard. A little bit of a know-it-all.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
In what sense?
Well, I remember once trying to construct in my backyard I had a tree, an avocado tree at the time, and I wanted to build a wood table around the tree.
Yeah.
You know, just to put plants on, and
yeah,
it was,
say it if you need to.
Yeah, well,
whatever.
no, because it was like 5 feet off the ground, but it was like a table top, and I did it myself. But he at the time was very hands-on in terms of, oh, you should do this. No, you should do that. No, you need a bigger nail than that. You need an angle bracket that's going to connect the two. You know, and I appreciated it, but at the same time, it's like, let me do this myself.
You
I'm
did
a
it.
handyman.
Yeah, that's
Right.
one of those
Yeah.
things, right? Is sometimes you take on a project and you have people come over to help you.
Yeah.
And they don't actually help. They're just going in trying to take over, and that's not the role you agreed to.
Right,
here.
and it reminds me of there's a commercial on TV.
Yeah.
I forget advertising what, I don't know, but it's a guy trying to start a fire. And 3 of his friends are all there going, oh, no, you don't do that. You stack the wood like this. And, lighter fluid, what are you doing? And you got to do that and this. And it's the same thing. Everybody's a know-it-all. When you have information, you want to impart it. And I can relate to that, because now he hands me down the know-it-all. So if I'm around somebody trying to build a table around a tree, I'm going to go, the first thing you need is 4 big angle brackets. You can't do it without an angle bracket.
Wait, so he was right.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, this
Yeah.
is specific.
you didn't ask.
Now, you guys have to understand how male this is and how Greg this is. To prefer to be stubbornly wrong than just do it right.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's helpful.
He did know
Yes.
it all.
He
He
helped.
Yes.
did know it all. Is what
Right. He did know it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Greg didn't like that. It made him feel inferior.
Right.
But the project.
Well, Greg thought he knew it
Right.
all.
I wanted
so,
to fake
right,
knowing
yes,
it all.
Yes.
The,
Yeah.
But the project that Greg undertook of building a table around a tree, I've seen it done in like mansions by multi-million-dollar architects because it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Like you can't just you just saying that you're a handyman is ridiculous, and I wish we could talk to your son about it.
I think
Well-
poor people have tables too, not just multimillionaires
Yeah,
with
seriously.
architects.
I know,
I
but
mean-
I'm saying that I've seen that when to do that well is complicated because you're allowing a tree to grow through a table or through your home.
I don't know. I don't know about you, Greg, but sometimes I go and like I'm on vacation. I remember I was in Siesta Key, I don't know, a couple years ago, fortnights ago, and I looked and I saw these wooden stools. I like to go on vacation where the house is themed because it's a beach house and it had
Yeah.
like kind of like a tropical Jimmy Buffett vibe, right?
Perfect, yep.
And I saw wooden stools and I remember thinking, and not just thinking, I said it out loud to everyone that's there. I go, I can make this stool. And then I was telling them, like I was looking, I was taking pictures. I was like, when I get home, I'm going to make this stool. Sure enough, I didn't make the stool, but I think you can make a table. I think you can make a stool, Greg.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, I think. Look, next week when Chris is back, we do our cook-off, and then I think maybe a couple weeks from now we buy some wood and we
You
have
against
like a
him?
contest where we make tables.
You're
Yeah.
going to try and you're going to make a table.
Try.
It's going to be a table off.
Try.
But I don't think of Greg as a handyman.
Well, here's the thing. I'm the son of a master carpenter.
That's true.
Okay.
Right.
And
Wild Bill.
And,
In the
right.
genes, yeah.
And I inherited a lot of that acumen. Okay, I grew up in a house where most of the key furniture was built by hand by my father.
Can you guys please call Erlene or call Chris? I need to get. There's no one here to independently verify. I don't believe any of what he's saying. And we started the show with with Tony saying, "If I really need to be honest with you."
Yeah.
And now I'm just surrounded by liars.
Well, no,
Well-
I think here's the thing: is when Chris is here, Chris's role is to discredit his father. Where when I'm here, my role is to support Greg. So I feel
right.
like
Yeah.
the fact that Chris decided to not come in today, whether he's tending to his child or whatever. Now we just have to kind of believe Greg today. It's yes day with Greg.
No, this is not
Yes,
wild.
and?
No, it's not Wild Willie Wednesday. That's a different day. This is not Yes and Tuesday.
Yes,
But it's a
and
Greg
Tuesday.
Cody Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
Is there back in my day?
Damn it, I left it at home.
Yeah,
Allergies,
second day
yeah.
this week. Yeah, COVID.
No, I'm under the weather today.
Razor.
Plus,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Razor
right.
variant.
Yeah.
I want to get back to where it is that I started because what the Panthers are doing is not just a testament to architecture, right? Because Vegas and Tampa taught them how to game the salary cap system, and so they hid Kachuk there last year, and they got the two pieces, Seth Jones and Brad Marchand, that makes Greg Cody furious that Bill Zito doesn't win Executive of the Year. And now they signed him after I thought Ekblad was leaving, and they're getting all these guys discounted. So Mike's been doing a little bit of reporting here. Is this a happen to know situation, or is this a for a fact situation?
I know this one for a fact. There were plenty of teams interested across the NHL in Aaron Ekblad, and they were told that they're not going to entertain any offers, no matter how big, provided that Florida gets to a certain number. Now we know what that number is. As long as Florida got to $6 million, Aaron Ekblad would have turned down any offer from any other team. He flatly wasn't hearing any team out, even though plenty of teams had big offers ready for him. He was going to stay in Florida, provided that Florida got to $6 million annually, and they did.
I know that people are interested in the mechanics of how you GM and how you piece things together under the salary cap. But the reason that I'm reacting to this with a little bit of, whoa, so this is what it's going to be. They've realized they've got the momentum and here's the money, and they're going to keep spending and they're going to keep reinvesting. They know what it takes to be on top. They have proven that they know what it takes to be on top. And as an added bonus, all of these hockey players love that they play in this little swampland over here where they can live the rest of their lives otherwise in private in the way they never could in a bustling hockey town. Now, less so than before, because if they stay in Broward now, they've got a problem, but they can come to Dade and have a different experience with the world as if they're in the Caribbean and they kind of like the trophy in the ocean. So the idea that the Panthers now have exactly the momentum you need to do exactly what Tampa did, which is make it a hockey peninsula for a decade beyond this, because a generation of fans like what the beach feels like on parade day.
Year over year, you see the growth. You see more down in Miami-Dade County. You certainly see more interest. The crowd at La Carreta grows year over year. Incremental growth for the Florida Panthers. We know what it's like over here in hockey. This was a nowhere franchise that was constantly rumored to be relocating for about 25 years of its existence. But Florida has positioned themselves, and this is what you love about sports, right? We're not for the copious amount of steroids. This team is a team that loves each other, that plays the right way, that takes less money to keep winning. Like, they should be beloved. But I understand why there's a fair amount of Panther fatigue across the league.
Well, and Ekblad was suspended during the season. You guys hated Ekblad, and then he took PEDs and was great, and you loved Ekblad again.
Awesome. We were bouncing it off each other before the show. This guy's a Hall of Famer, probably.
I
don't know how they're going to look at the PED thing, but he has a Calder. He's got 2 cups. He's still 29 years old.
How many years did they give Marchand?
They gave him 6.
That's
6 years.
Crazy.
So that's the first thing I thought of. Like, how old is he?
So there's
He's 37.
a lot of this is confusing, right? Because there's a new CBA, and a lot of the CBA changes don't take into effect next year. It's the year after. So Matthew Tkachuk's going to have surgery. I imagine they're going to exploit this long-term injury list rule one more year, and either wait for somebody on the roster to get hurt and they can stash them away, or make a move in the middle of the season. But guys like Evan Rodriguez or Jesper Boquist, who do you think would probably be on the way out with these deals coming in, they have a shot at sticking around, at least for the time being, if Matthew Tkachuk does indeed end up on the long-term injury list.
Greg, can I bring you in here, though? Because I really do, just for a second, want to step back from it so that we can, in the moment, realize what history feels like and how it feels to be truly excellent at the top of sports in a way that this market has only had a couple of teams ever that have felt this way, that have this particular connection where it's like, not merely that the team is excellent and has given you the feel good, but on top of this, Stugotz, and I cannot state this enough, the ownership of Panthers before this ownership has been a turnstile of awful and incompetent grifters who have come and tried to sell ice near the Everglades like snake oil salesmen. To see this organization run this way where it's like, no, and here we go, we're going to invest it right back into the team. We're going to build it down here because we're building it down here. We've done the hardest thing. The hardest thing is everyone in the sport knows we're the best. And now we treat our players better. And now the owner's spending big. You're erasing. You're doing what James Dolan can't do with even the Rangers. Like, you're erasing 30 years of incompetence down here.
Right.
With the best of excellence we've ever had at the top of sports, and a team that the rest of the continent doesn't particularly have an affinity for.
They're having a conniption right now because this team is sticking together, and they can't really piece together why. I mean, these contracts are so below market value that it really doesn't matter about state taxes, which is a myth anyways. The Brad Marchand deal, we don't have full confirmation on what the deal looks like. With the new CBA, it's a little confusing. Players north of 35, if they retire and sign a long-term contract, provided that the annual average value is consistent and it's not front-loaded, once they retire, they come off your books. Now, I haven't heard anyone assume that Brad Marchand's going to play to the end of this contract. It seems like a long-term contract for a 37-year-old.
No, you saw what they just did. They gamed the end of the system. It's a reward for past play, and yeah, we'll just get the rest of your career. We're punctuating the Hall of Famers' career.
Play as long as you want.
It appears that the avenue from what there is on social media and reporters poking around on this, it seems as though the deal for Brad Marchand is going to be front-loaded, which means if he does indeed retire during the term of this contract, some of that money remains on the books, but that cap number will be smaller if they do indeed front-load it. So Bill Zito had a couple of options here, and he's still working all the options. And Matthew Tkachuk, taking advantage of this last term of the long-term injury list too, is going to provide them some optionality, I think, when it comes to their roster. Mackie Samsikiewicz is a really good restricted free agent. I'm not exactly sure on what other teams can offer him, but if Matthew Tkachuk is out for an extended period of time, you'd like to see Mackey come back because Mackey can produce offensively on the puck. He is very talented, and if I were another team like Boston or Tampa or Carolina, I'd do whatever I can to get a player like Mackey.
Well, this roster is so deep that, you talk about the four lines. They had the equivalent of fifth-line guys who couldn't get on the ice, and Mackey's one of those guys. But it isn't just the money they're offering; it's the length of contract and Marchand
And the winning.
Yeah, Marchand for 6 years is one thing. Not many teams are going to offer Aaron Ekblad an 8-year contract at age 29, and they did. And they have everything going right now. Everything. Vinny Viola is not an out-front owner. People don't talk about him too much. He's a quiet owner, much like Mickey Arison is, but state-of-the-art right now. Ownership, coaching, general manager, roster, everything.
All of this stuff is easy to say. It's victory after victory after victory. The part that I'm telling you about, though, that bears celebration as a genuine sports nobility. There has been no Panther ownership that felt secure enough to give 8-year deals because they'd be around for 8 years.
Right.
Like you're talking
It was
about
year to year.
You're talking about top level wealth distribution here with an owner who's now running the program the right way, and it's flogging the rest of hockey. Like they're dismantling. Over the last couple of years, the blueprints of Boston and the Rangers and Tampa have been dismantled by these people.
Probably add Toronto to the list now.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
just
Maybe
traded Mitch
Carolina.
Marner. Carolina's going to sign Ehlers today, I think. But Carolina's been sniffing around every big potential name that's out there. Marner. They certainly wanted Ekblad. They swing and miss a lot, but I think they finally connect today.
Mike, you end Carolina by simply saying that they want to try and figure out how to beat it. Carolina will
Carolina's
not
such a
be
fraud.
They will not be able to beat. They know they're not good enough. They're not as good as the team that the Panthers have built, and the Panthers team isn't going to get any weaker. So
if I may, on Carolina is a byproduct of this kooky playoff format that sucks, by the way, because the Florida Panthers play in arguably the toughest division in hockey. They cannibalize themselves, and you have a fraud-ass team in Carolina that by happenstance makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals because they have a much easier path. If you rank the Eastern Conference 1 through 8, it would have been Carolina versus Florida in the first round. And let me tell you something, that gentleman's sweep lands a lot differently if it's in the first round than if it is in the ECF. They are not that good. They are tricking themselves into thinking they are.
I need more information on One-Eyed Mike. Billy, I'm going to need your help here because I'm asking Chris Cody. He has imaging of I happen to know or I know for a fact, and we need to start reporting Mike Ryan's reports because they've all been credible. He's batting 1,000, like he's never gotten one wrong.
I was wrong for the soups on Noah Dobson. Carolina thought that they had Noah Dobson. Then Columbus thought they had Noah Dobson. There was a feeding frenzy around Noah Dobson from Stugotz's Islanders. He ends up going to Montreal. But I was transparent with that, but I do think Ehlers is going to Carolina.
Okay. But with facts, you're usually pretty good.
Yeah, I know for a fact
right,
that was what the deal was. With
I'm going to
Ekblad.
get the imaging that Chris wasn't here to give us. We had good imaging for that on.
I see here something that says happens to know potential imaging.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know why you would save something as potential.
Okay,
but
well,
it's
he was sending it to
potential.
me to see if he was doing a good job, and I haven't
Was
heard
he?
it yet. Well, I haven't heard it yet.
You
so-
want to just hear this?
Let's hear it together.
This is
Yeah.
the potential.
Hold on a second
Mike,
here.
maybe Mike can choose his own imaging. He doesn't
Yeah.
like what Jason's doing with Mercurial Mike Mondays or
Yeah.
Manic Mike Mondays or Mike Mild Mondays. Maybe Mike can approve or not approve of this imaging.
Mike, you want to hear this? Hold on a second here.
Two-eyed Mike.
He happens to know? Great Scott, he happens to know. He happens to know. Gather everyone. Get the children. He happens to know. So wise.
All right, there's one more here. Hold on.
Oh my God, he knows. He happens to know. Come everyone. Come and listen. All right. Happens to know. He happens to know. Well informed.
Nailed it.
Thoughts?
It's great voice acting.
Really
Let me
good.
tell you what.
You know
It was
what?
good.
I don't think Mike likes it.
A little lukewarm on it.
Yeah.
I did like the ending, though.
You wanna play it again?
Yeah, play the second one. I think the second one's
Wait,
the
hold
one.
on. Let's
This
listen to
is
both.
Second one's great.
This is
Yeah.
very vulnerable for him to
This
not
is
be
like
here.
the eye doctor. Hold on a second. One or two here. Hold on. Here's one.
He happens to know? Great Scott, he happens to know. He happens to know. Gather everyone. Get the children. He happens to know. So wise.
Is he a nobleman?
That was one.
I love it.
Oh my God, he knows. Come, everyone. Come and listen. He happens to know.
That's good.
So
Well
good.
informed.
I like well informed. I think it's number 2 because Chris has this weird thing where he occasionally has this Wisconsin accent come out of nowhere. Sometimes it's when he says the word both. And listen to the start of this second one. It sounds like he's from Wisconsin.
Oh my God, he knows.
Oh my God, he knows.
Come, everyone. Come and listen.
Francis
Oh,
McDormand.
we missed the whisper. The echoing.
Hopefully, Chris's daughter will be okay, and the viral strain that is running through the Codys will heal itself. How are you feeling right now? I've heard you sniffling a lot. You've been drinking. You okay?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. This is going to sound like a lie. One of the reasons I'm not eating the mic is that I don't want my breathing and my sniffling to constantly be audible.
Billy, why are you laughing?
I'm trying to think of which is a better thing, not trying to sound like a lie or Tony
Right.
just saying this is the truth.
No, Greg was right. He was just telling the truth. He didn't need to say anything. It's Tony. When you announce that you have the truth, if I'm telling the truth, that's when you're lying.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
Take it
telling
from
the
an
truth.
expert.
I'm telling the truth. What do you want me to do?
I guess if you say if I'm telling the truth, it's more like
Right.
Billy, should we?
am I not?
What are your
Coin
thoughts?
toss.
if
What-
I am, I may not be though.
I want, since you're in the EP chair, I want you to help make an executive decision
Oh my
here.
God, he knows.
Okay, yes, this can be. Look, let's use that. And that's you as the EP, and that is God behind you and making an executive ruling on this.
Chris is
okay?
God?
No, yes, it's you appearing as God, the decision maker, and Chris is an awed servant who has just appeared. Oh my God, he knows. So make a ruling on this. Tony thinks his video from Vegas should air. Matt Kugler, who I've seen you aligning yourself with on South Beach sessions, says you can air it, which shouldn't be our standard around here. It shouldn't be you can air it with indifference. So who do I side with? Tony's saying, do I side with the unfunny guy? That was Lewis. I'm sorry. That was Lewis who was saying that. That wasn't Tony.
Okay.
Do we side with Matt Kugler or do we side with Tony?
Oh my God, he knows. He happens to know. Come, everyone. Come and listen. Happens to know. He happens to know. Well informed.
We have breaking news on the hockey front. Florida's made another move.
I wanted Billy to make a ruling.
We got breaking news out there.
We got
What are you
breaking
supposed
news.
to do? Yeah.
If you paid attention to the Panthers socials, they already said goodbye to Nate Schmidt, who's going to hit the free agent
that's too
market.
bad.
Schmitty had a cat named Schmitty.
Had a cat named Schmidt.
He died. Yeah.
He died. So half of the two most recent PED violators are now gone from the Florida Panthers roster.
The cheetahs.
Just leaves Aaron Ekblad. But Thomas Nosek is re-signing with Florida for 1 year. He was an incredible fourth liner for Florida. They probably don't make it to the Stanley Cup final. Were not for that fourth line's performance down 2-0 to Toronto in the second round. Nosek was a huge part of that. He signs for $775,000.
Yeah, that's why they had that line on the ice when they clinched.
I wanted to get to another local story, but you just reminded me of something and how perilous and fickle and fragile these things can be as I'm talking about, what is going to go down as some of the best sports ownership we've ever had in sports in this country, given what they built and how they built it. Like, just scrapped a model that was the best Panther team any of us had ever seen in the regular season and turned it over into what it is now, which is...
Don't you think it's still Mickey, but in a very short amount of time? Vinny Viola is narrowing that gap, and he seems, with this core locked in, they might very well catch Mickey in terms of titles.
But what
Are you saying Mickey is the greatest owner in the history of South Florida
sports? Yeah, I
Really?
think so.
I mean, Huizenga would be up there now.
Nah, I think it's Mickey. What did Huizenga bring to?
All the sports.
Well, he was polarizing, but I agree with
Heartbreak.
Stugotz. He doesn't get the credit he deserves.
No, I think he got plenty of the credit on his way out.
Screw him.
you go.
My point was that, yes, not only is that the conversation that you're allowed to enter when you have this excellence, but I was just sort of marveling at how fragile it is because they were done against Toronto. Like a random a deflection happens in overtime of Game 3, Stugotz, and none of what we're saying is so right now. None of it. No, we're not talking about any of the stuff we're talking about because they would have lost that series to Toronto in the second round, and they would have been something that felt like it had underachieved somehow because we were dreaming of this.
Right.
Like it would have felt one championship in 3 years. That would have been an epic disappointment, and it was an ice skate razor blade from happening. And it's an absurd thing to think that they now have maximum stability when it was on a razor's edge. Like, it wouldn't have felt like this, Stugotz, at all. Never mind no parade. It wouldn't have been re-sign everyone 8 years. It would have been, oh, that was disappointing. Oh, Marchand and Ekblad aren't worth re-signing.
But now they're an historic team, Dan. They're going for 3 straight Stanley Cups, trying to make it to the Cup for the 4th time. They play in a state with no state taxes. Why would you want to leave? If you're any of these guys, Ekblad could have got out in the free agency market and gotten himself $9 million a year. He stayed here for $6. Why would you want to leave this organization?
If they'd gone out in the second round, some of those guys would have left because it
no doubt.
It wouldn't have felt like a parade at the end.
Yeah,
I agree. These guys genuinely do love each other. I had a friend that was in the Bahamas at the same time they were, and he's like, the wives are just like on the phones watching their boyfriends and husbands just love each other's company in the pool, just being guys, broing out. And it's then when you realize, I don't think anybody actually wants to leave. And provided that Florida just hits the low end of what their hopes and expectations are in terms of offers, these guys are going to stick around. Brad Marchand didn't really have this huge loyalty to Florida. We reported yesterday that if Florida just merely matched what Boston had for him, he would just 50-50 to take it. And he did for Florida, not for Boston.
I feel like them coming down from 2 games against Toronto had nothing to do with kismet or luck. It had to do with how good the Panthers proved that they are. Listen, what you just said is the nature of sports. You could put every dynasty hinges on that kind of thing that you just said.
On a couple of plays, a couple of moments.
Most dynasties aren't down 3-0 after 3 games.
They weren't. They were down 2.
I'm saying they would have been down 3-0.
Would have, could have.
A deflection in overtime that has nothing to do with whether or not they're better than Toronto. Something random happens in an overtime, as it can. A penalty, a bad call happens in overtime.
Right.
They would have been down 3-0 and they would have been done.
Nature of sports.
Yeah, destiny.
It's still Toronto. You know, if anybody can blow it, it's them.
By the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. We've stolen the exclamation point officially from Get Up. It's put after the word show.
So this is Act 1, Scene 2 of Macbeth. The stage instructions are: a camp near Fours. Alarm within. Enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Lennox with attendants, meeting a bleeding sergeant.
I don't even know what that means.
Jessica, you will play the role.
All right, so wait, can we set the scene? Thank you, Mike. Can we set the scene, Mike, from high school? Can you give Chris Cody his motivation on, because he didn't even understand what Whittingham.
Am I happy?
Like what?
Sergeant is
distressed?
bleeding.
Okay.
In what
You're
condition does the distressed? Okay, very good. Good confidence there. Let's have the music that we need, Shakespearean music, and let's see if we can find our note here.
What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight of the revolt, the new estate.
This is the sergeant, who like a good and hardy soldier fought gainst my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king the knowledge of the broil, as thou didst leave it.
So true.
Doubtful it stood, as 2 spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that. The multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him from the western isles. of Kearns and Gallowes glasses is supplied, and fortune of his damned quarrel smiling. Showed like a rebel's whore, showed like a rebel's whore, but all's too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked a blood with bloody execution.
What?
Yes.
Like Valuor's minion carved out his passage till he faced the slave,
I feel your distress. I really do.
which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him till
It's
he
nair.
uniseamed him from the
Unseamed.
navity
Unseamed.
nave
Name.
Rolling.
Don't let them deter you.
to the chaps and fixed his head upon our battlements.
O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
Ah, as whence the sun gins his reflection,
Missed your cue.
shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break. So from that spring whence comfort seemed to come,
Wait a minute. There wasn't a question mark there.
discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, Mark, no sooner justice had with valor armed.
Oh, you think he's done?
Humbled these
Compelled.
Compelled.
these skipping kerns to trust their heels.
Not compelled. We need
But the
compelling.
Norwegian lord surveying vantage,
Which is it?
furbished arms,
Vintage advantage.
and new supplies of men
All right, we've
begin a fresh assault.
tested his
Hey,
endurance.
not this! Our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
And scene.
You almost made it to the finish line. You started leaking confidence. It was not unlike the race outside in Freedom. You were very confident for a moment, and then you fell at the finish line. But
Showed his long track.
Excellent, Chris. Excellent.
Vintage vantage.
Long white crowd.
Coppled? Compelled.
Ah.
Mike goes to Vegas, gets drunk, and Roy has to finish his hockey segment.
Mike Ryan has landed in Vegas. God knows what time it is right there. God knows if he slept at all and what kind of intoxicants he's on. But let's just play sound from Mike Ryan. He's not chasing the Jokic brothers in Denver. That's a mean. But let's play the sound before we introduce Mike Ryan and his nice hat.
I'm actually hearing, we're about to play this sound here. I'm actually hearing Mike Ryan is hopping in the Zoom.
I don't know how I go the entirety of my life without Greg Cody ever telling me about One-Eyed Mike. That he's got an uncle One-Eyed Mike. I just don't know how that happens. I don't know how that's something I learn on the air. I don't know how people in the content business, a family of content providers, don't realize that One-Eyed Mike would have been a fountain, that both of you are oblivious to it. But I'm convinced more and more that the Codys don't know basic human things. For example, there are tissues on the floor at Greg Cody's feet. There are garbage cans in here.
Yeah, I threw them away during the break.
But they're on the floor.
But if you were to get up and walk past you to throw it away in the garbage can during a segment, you'd probably not be happy.
Yeah, exactly. See, he wants it both ways.
He's a gag.
This guy. By the way, Mike was my brother-in-law, not my uncle. And he lost an eye as a child. And so by the time I met and married Erlene, I knew Mike only as a regular guy. I didn't know him as a one-eyed, as somebody who had lost an eye as a Ute.
Well, I mean, people with one eye are regular people too. Just to be clear.
Of course they are.
Here.
How'd he lose the eye?
A bottle exploded or something. It was
right.
It was
no. The story was told it was a cork that went off in his eye.
Okay, the cork.
A champagne bottle went off in his eye.
Okay, it could be. I don't know why a child would be opening a champagne bottle.
I was wondering that too.
Yeah.
When you said as a child.
Again, though, the thing that had escaped our attention somehow from a family of content providers is not only that there was a one-eyed Mike, but that one-eyed Mike had different color eyes because one of the glass eyes was not the same color as his other eye.
And a three-legged dog.
As you mentioned, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to other subjects, I've still got this conflict in the room where Tony wants his video to play and is getting increasingly mad at Kugler. Kugler, the producer of South Beach Sessions, has Ross Gold Onwude is going to join us here in about 20 minutes. He's got a game idea for her. He's kind of trying to elbow Tony out of the way, I feel like, in terms of climbing up the producer hierarchy here, doing the same thing Billy's done to undermine Tony.
He can have the producer spot. I don't really care about that. Like, I'm doing my own thing over here. Like, if he wants to climb the producership, he can do it. Great for him. He's got great games. Yeah, we can play a game with Ross. That's going to be amazing. She's going to love that. Like, the last one went so well. Remember gold or what was the other thing? It was like gold or good.
That
was
bronze?
No. Gold or good was the last time we played with her, which was another Kugler staple. And she didn't understand the game. She was like, "Is it gold or is it good?" And then we're like, "Oh, we don't know."
So just to be 100% clear, Tony and Kugler are at the same hierarchy, like same level.
Trust me, we're not.
No, all that Dan wants is for them to fight.
Yeah.
Why?
I could fight him.
This is how he does it, Billy.
Yes.
You want me to go out and kick his
Creates
ass? Dan?
competition.
What do you want?
Yeah.
He just wants them to fight.
No,
He likes people fighting.
I would like Tony in a fight.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't want...
He ducked that other guy.
The other guy
allegedly.
ducked me. I was there. He wasn't.
You mean, okay.
Well, you showed him too much.
A lot. By the way, a lot is coming from a lot of guys that would not step into the octagon to do anything.
You stepped into the octagon to not do anything.
Oh, I did nothing.
That's what the report was earlier
You didn't
today.
spar. I mean,
Okay, not my fault. I was there.
He went to town on that weight bag.
So this is part of the problem and the tension that I have here. Okay, the standard.
You're breeding this, by the way, just so you know. You're creating this situation.
Yeah.
here.
right.
Dan would never do that.
Okay.
Never. I mean, I love Tony. I don't care if he sparred or not. I don't care what he did. I just love Tony.
I'm
That's it.
glad
Yeah.
he didn't, honestly. When I heard he was going to create content, he's going to fight a UFC fighter, I said, oh, my God, not my poor Tony. What if he gets hurt? I would never want that to happen to him.
Tony looked like a natural from the clips that I saw. Anybody else would have embarrassed themselves. You and your old Gates.
Go on, Dan.
Did he just hit the three of us?
He did.
With instead of the word walking Gates, Gaits, as an insult, as a trash talking insult.
He did.
Okay, so I don't want to make fun of this part. I do want to make fun of Billy saying, Dan, you created this. When you say you created this, if by this you mean Meadowlark Media, yes. And Meadowlark Media, a company of creatives who can be very passive, will sit in a meeting when I ask for a video from Vegas and wonder if it's good enough, and no one speaks up. Is it good enough? And no one speaks up. Is it good enough? And no one speaks up. And then Kugler yells, you can air it. And that's my content problem.
That's speaking up, though.
So when you
He
say
spoke up,
no,
but
but
no one
yes,
liked
read
the
between the
answer.
lines.
Yeah.
yes, no, he did speak up, and he's saying not to air it, and that would insult Tony. Tony doesn't believe that Kugler's got a higher standard than Tony does. But You Can Air It was not an endorsement, and we were a passive organization just going to throw it on air without comment. Yeah, I created this. Yeah. Yep, that's why I'm a bad leader. Yep. You Can Air It shouldn't be a content company standard. You think that's what they're doing on late night?
I will fight Kugler, who is no longer on late night. We
Fight
can
him.
set up a late night pay-per-view where I kick his ass, Dan.
Fight
Is that
him.
what
Oh,
you
boy.
want?
Yes,
Let
that's
me
what
know,
he wants.
please.
That's
He's
not
been
what I
very
want.
clear that's what he wants.
Okay,
not
you
what I
asked.
want.
Him and his old gate.
Here's the
created
issue.
this.
You created this one. You
Employees
asked.
threatening each other.
You
now.
asked,
Jeez.
is it good enough? I said yes.
Yes.
You asked again, is it good enough? I said yes. You asked, is it good enough? And Kugler said, you can air it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly how he sounds.
Dan,
too.
what do you
I've
want
heard
me to
his voice.
How many more times do you want me to say yes?
Fight him.
See, you're strutting like Ric Flair. You're so happy that this is going on.
Air
right
the
now.
video. I want to see the video.
One
Air the
guy's
video.
threatening to fight another guy.
Right.
and
Everyone's at
I'm just
odds.
saying because
He's
the boss,
responding to a challenge.
the boss is saying fight him.
Fight him.
the payoff is we watch a video that sounded incomplete.
Well,
He
that's,
said
that's the
fight
other,
him and make him quick.
the other thing that he said is there's no payoff.
Well, Tony said this was a long play,
This
as
is
though
a
this
long
was
game,
by
boys.
design.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
and
the design is another Vegas.
Okay.
for
Payoff's
this
coming,
for Tony.
Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
exactly right.
International Fight Week 26.
And
Him
there's
and his friends get to go to Vegas.
Long
Billy, you
play.
can go. There's
Yeah.
roller coasters there.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, right
What a
off.
New
But
York,
I'm
New
gonna have to
York.
charge the fee. Yeah. Theme park journalist.
Can I kick his ass?
me? What do I have to do
Oh,
with
my
this?
bad.
Billy's defending you here.
Yeah, I
mean,
said I was worried about you. I wanted you to not fight
He's
because
got
I
a
didn't want you
special
to
way
hurt.
of
On the
making sure it
hierarchy of
doesn't
people
sound
that wanted me to get my ass kicked, my wife was number one. Billy was right there at number
Right
two.
there, even if not, maybe more so because your wife knows you a little bit better than I do, and I'm sure she has those things.
Kugler's third, though. He talks a lot of shit.
It's fine. We can kick his ass if you want.
Okay, I don't believe that is a problem-solving measure that we're going to resort to here. I don't believe that the kicking of ass is something that you have delivered on when you promised us that that's the video we were getting of you kicking the ass of an MMA fighter who you were sparring with. But the thing that I wanted to put in front of the group here, because we do have a number of different personalities here, and I was thinking about this the other day. I believe that this is the most Latin show in the history of the American sports media. This right here is the most Latin show.
See.
Latin American.
Jorge Ramos and Subanda was pretty Hispanic.
Right.
Yeah,
The entire band.
And
yeah, they were
Chiringuito.
all there.
In the history of the American sports media. And
They're American. What are you saying?
I am-
Jeez,
I-
Dan.
I don't know. Let's check again.
check the papers.
Whoa,
Whoa.
jeez.
That was harsh.
On today of
really
all days.
was.
I don't know why.
Yeah, he's got a point.
Alligator Alcatraz is opening. Damn.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's a theme park. You can cover it.
We got to your first assignment.
Right off.
Your first assignment. Alligator Alcatraz, first
I don't
metal
think
arc
that's a theme
assignment.
park. I don't
It
think
is a
that's how
theme.
that works.
It is
sure
a
is a
theme.
They got everything. Gators.
Can I give a PSA for people? And this is the opposite of what you would do as like someone who wants tourists to come. If you're a tourist coming to Miami, don't bother going to the Everglades. Giant waste of time.
Overrated.
It's boring, yeah.
Sunburn,
Disagree.
Yeah.
mosquito
Disagree.
bites.
Disagree on all
You
counts.
maybe get bit by an alligator. You go on an airboat, that's fun for a little bit, but then you're like, okay, how much sawgrass do I need to see? This is ridiculous.
It's Billy. I'm right there with you. It's
Don't
the worst.
bother.
It's the worst of the national parks.
Well,
Easily.
Yes.
We got no
I'm with you.
topography.
Right.
yeah.
I disagree.
Where are the redwoods at? You know what I mean?
I disagree.
Where are the mountains at?
Yeah, those airboats are too loud as well.
I know you have to put in earplugs.
Yeah,
It's
ridiculous.
great if you want to, and we love it and all that, but don't bother. It's a
Yeah.
waste of a day. You're gonna be out there.
The
to
place that
swamp.
I was headed, I disagree on all counts, but I don't want to turn this into a marshland critique show. So I want to head back to where I was headed on Tony, because Tony, I have come to realize, because his dad was Stugotz, Latin style, that Tony has a perpetual hustle going as the most Latin of Latin hustlers that we have in here. And when Tony came in and I asked about the video, and he immediately said, "It's the long play, Dan." I knew there had
Dano.
been no sparring.
Right.
I knew there had been, long play, Dano. Send me back to Vegas so I can make more videos of not sparring with guys I promised to spar with.
Well, here's the thing. right? So you have
I like this.
the start.
Here we go.
And
Here's
Stugotz
the
knows.
thing.
You have the long game, right? You got the long game. You can't deliver on the first video.
No.
Right?
What's
Unless
the
your
point?
chances are limited.
Well, that's what you
Exactly.
say when you don't deliver on the
Exactly.
first.
But
Right.
It wasn't
what do
a
we
long
do
play
now?
initially.
You said you would deliver on
Yeah.
it.
But if you go into it with a long play in mind, why deliver in the first
Exactly.
5-10 minutes?
This is textbook,
you know?
though.
Right.
Look at the demand to see this video already. It's palpable. And you guys want to see this fight now. He's just learning from Jake Paul. The public appetite to see this fight now between Tony and
growing.
this chicken shit has grown exponentially.
So we're looking at the first video of maybe a series of 3 or 4 videos, right?
4?
We get ready. Not me going to Vegas.
Well,
but
there's a rematch.
exactly. So we've got
There needs to be a match for a rematch.
we've got the initial video getting ready, right? And now we've got the secondary video getting ready with maybe another UFC legend who's maybe local, right? So he teaches me his ways. And then it culminates with the fight between me and Bad Tavares, who has tied Michael Bisping for the most wins in the middleweight division in UFC history. And as you see this video, you're going to see he's basically like The Rock, but instead of 6'5", being like 6 foot.
Wow.
So there's appetite for what can happen in the next like 3 videos.
Say less. I mean it.
Well, but don't make less because
I'm not making less. I'm making more.
He's making
I'm
more.
making
more.
Dan.
Well,
You're
less,
not
I'm
paying
more.
attention. It's a long play. It's
Long
the
play,
play
Dan.
seems to be on you, but it's a long play.
Right.
Yeah, make it longer. Make it a 10-part series.
He has to go train in the
okay.
Philippines next.
Yeah, put it in the
There's theme parks there.
put it on the poll.
Really?
Does there need to be a match in order for there to be a rematch at Le Batard
That's video
Show?
3 and 4 right there.
Exactly.
We will get to this video in a moment, but Cody, do you have a ruling on this? Because at this point we have to play the video, but it doesn't have the strongest endorsement from Kugler, who has created a game.
He said play it.
That he feels like will save this hour in the event that Tony nukes the hour with his video.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a payoff, according to Kugler.
Right. I do have a ruling. My ruling is that we play the video with the understanding that Tony will develop thick skin because he will be subject, I suspect, to a sort of an unkind postmortem to the video play.
Possibly.
It seems as though the implication is Tony does not have thick skin, which I feel like he's displayed nothing but thick skin thus far today.
Thank you.
Yep. Alligator skin, some are saying.
Yeah.
Feel those tries?
I have found Tony to be generally a Latino male defensive in the places where the largest insecurities reside. Covered in armor.
Which is where?
That you'd He's saying you have a little dick.
That you'd be.
Yeah. Prove him wrong.
That's in video 3.
I can vouch for Tony.
Thank you, Stu. Also, we start measuring to see who gets in the octagon. We'll measure, and we'll
come
see what
on.
it is.
That's the
What is
typical
that?
statement.
I'm never
that
getting
says,
in.
like,
I
But
am
again,
never
guys
getting
that
in.
don't want to step into the octagon are saying that you did something. Like, go and do it then.
But you let the guy leave. He
It's
was
not-
there.
it's
Why
not my
didn't you
fault.
fight?
He left on his own.
Can I ask you something? Whose fault is it? You went with a group of people who were supposed to coordinate this fight.
Right.
He was there.
Right.
And you were there.
Right.
And he got out somehow.
Yeah,
How
correct.
did that happen?
He
He
chickened
showed
out.
up to do it,
I'm
and then he left.
working on the bags with Coach Eric Nixick.
Looking
I'm
good.
not looking to say, like, hey.
But
what-
when he's
what-
there, shoot with
Billy,
him,
did you
and then
see-
shoot out of order and do the other thing after.
Billy, did you see the videos, though?
No.
Tony looks good, man.
I saw online he looked a little tired, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
with
he
you.
was
I looked
tired
a
from
little
training all
He
tired.
looked a little tired.
It's
Oh,
the
man.
Okay.
I
Well,
think there'd be maybe
Coach
Did you
Eric,
watch
though.
Lewis?
maybe
Lewis
2
was
round if
dead.
that. I mean,
Lewis
but
was
Lewis,
dead.
I've taken bigger craps than Lewis, honestly.
I don't
Lewis
believe
is a
you.
tiny
What a
person.
great insult, man. I've taken bigger
Wow.
craps
All
than
right.
Lewis.
Respectfully.
All right, that's all right. Wait a minute.
I mean, that's
It was
more
respectful.
complimentary to my craps than it is,
is.
you know,
It is.
like an insult to
Yeah,
him.
what
But
I would like
crapper.
to see that.
he's
crap.
not the biggest guy.
Holy crap.
That's video 4.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Greg's right.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Is it okay to say you've taken bigger craps than someone if you add the word respectfully?
Because I realized as I was saying it, it wasn't coming out as I intended. It was more to be complimentary towards my crap than
That's
diminutive
not
to
true at all.
Lewis.
You know what?
If you say respectfully, you're about to
what?
disrespect
You know
someone.
what?
I mean.
I'm
Well, I
s-
did it
no,
afterwards,
yeah.
yeah.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for lying.
Lewis?
No, you.
Me?
You, yes.
Really? Not
you.
Lewis, huh?
Billy out. I'm not putting Lewis out. I want to play the video, though, Lewis, please, because I do believe that people underestimate what combat sports are all the time. No, I don't want you anymore. Doesn't matter.
Someone has to play the video. I got to turn
Chris
it
is
on.
out. I mean, kid is sick.
No,
yeah.
it's okay.
Real pickle.
I don't need you. It's okay.
Oh,
I don't need you. 2 minutes for
fill in.
lying.
Well,
And
he's being penalized for taking a gigantic crap. It's not fair.
not that gigantic. Lewis
Something
isn't-
that's the penalty. In itself. Imagine the pain I was in for that to happen.
Right.
Jeez. It was a crime scene. Whew.
I mean, I'd like to see a photograph of that.
Would you?
By which I mean, I
would.
If there was a
mean,
crap
Greg,
the size
yeah.
of Lewis,
you?
I'd like to see
I'm
it
trying
too.
to
Yeah, I
imagine
would.
it.
Yeah.
You know, call
Right.
up Guinness, put it in the world record. That one.
It would appear that Shane Gilgeous-Alexander has signed a $285 million extension. Wow. I mean, now hosting the ESPYs, winning the NBA championship. What a summer for this young man.
So what I was saying, Stugotz, is that people underestimate all the time how strong these human beings are and these mixed martial artists, how technically sound they are. So there is someone on social media. He hosts a popular podcast. The name escapes me. But he has been challenging UFC fighters saying, I'm 260. His argument is always, I'm 260. I got muscles. I've got 260. And the UFC community did it to Nate Diaz first, I think. And everyone's laughing at him saying, no, you don't understand that Mighty Mouse at 125 would take you out. Why are you saying that 260 is some special thing because you weigh 260? Sean Strickland here, this guy is going up against a 300-pound football player, an offensive lineman. He is much smaller than the offensive lineman. And people think that size advantages are much of a distinction here between sports when combat sports are fighting. The reason they have weight classes is because people of similar skill have to be of similar weight. But Sean Strickland is going to be as strong as a NFL lineman. An NFL lineman is going to try to be strong with him and isn't going to have the skill set necessary to do anything with someone who is 60 pounds lighter than he is. And look at Tony grinning maniacally.
Good scramble
over there.
from Strickland there. You saw him flip him.
Hung in there.
That's
Yeah.
a guy who's like 275 pounds. Just threw him over.
Weight matters in a fight, dude.
In a fight, it matters unless you have somebody who is skilled at fighting and someone who's not. Like that, what I'm saying, I'm saying a 260-pound strong guy doesn't have a chance if he's not technically sound as a fighter.
If he's not a trained fighter.
If he's not,
Right.
if he's not dedicated his life to the craft of it.
You're going top of the heap with Mighty Mouse. Yeah.
Like one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time.
Uriah Faber, I think Tony's got a shot.
The guy you're talking about, Dan, is Bradley Martin. That's the guy who's 260 shredded and says, I'll beat you up, it doesn't matter. But in the sweet sciences, in mixed martial arts, you have a guy like Mighty Mouse who's a multi-level Brazilian black belt, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and it's like, it doesn't matter if you're 260, he's going to put you in some sort of pretzel.
Well, that's
and
Dan's
you're not
point.
going to know.
Right.
I understand why it is that people thought that Bob Sapp in Japan a million years ago, he had a great deal of popularity because he'd be 350 pounds, overinflated, and then he'd go in there and he'd lose to everybody.
He also became one of the biggest stars in Asia.
That's correct.
Yeah,
But-
because he was just bigger than everybody, and he beat a lot of people because
Did he wear
was bigger than
shoes in the octagon again?
them. Yeah, that's what they did down there in K1.
I didn't hear the audio in the penalty box, but I saw the Tony video. My God, he looks enormous.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tony looks good in this.
No, like fat. Like I
Oh.
saw the two fat guys fighting. Tony
Right.
looks terrible.
Wow,
So
dude.
fat. So wait, Mike.
Serious?
Right
Mike-
now, you guys just played it. Tony was in there and he was sparring with some guy or whatever.
Yeah, he's a heavyweight. That's what Frank Mir looks like. He's got handles, but he can beat Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he looks terrible.
Handles? Did someone say handles? Do you want to do all-time handles tier?
Ooh, I like that. Bob Sapp, by the way, was 24 and 39 for his career.
Any handles tier begins and ends with Pistol Pete Maravich.
Ooh, that's a good one.
All right,
Yeah.
put it off to the side for a second. Let's watch Tony's video first. Tony, what is the setup that this requires, and ultimately, how was Vegas? Did
Vegas
you enjoy
was awesome.
yourself?
Yeah, Vegas was awesome. The people at the Circa were first class. Derek, Rami, Aaron, all the guys who took care of us over at Stadium Swim. The show was incredible. We had guests. Everything was great. Food, drinks, the whole setup, right? So Vegas was
Circa
awesome.
always does it right. They take care of us.
Take care of us like nobody's business. So we get there on Friday.
Like it's their business.
Like it's their business, but it's
Well, it
nobody's
is,
business.
right. Literally,
it is their
So
business
much
to
better.
take care of
Their
you.
business.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly
their
right.
business. Yes.
Hospitality.
So we get to Extreme Couture on Friday. The idea was to spar middleweight legend at this point, Brad Tavares, and work out with Coach Eric Nixick, 3-time MMA Coach of the Year. He's one of the greatest dudes of all time. So is Brad. Very excited to do this. Thanks to my boy Justin for setting it all up. We train what is called Sicko Saturdays, right? And what I've been explained is that throughout fight camp,
it closes with you betting on Hawaii to cover.
Well, that's obvious. That's the last part of the parlay. So Monday, Tuesday.
Is the explanation longer than the video?
No, I got about another 30 seconds left.
Play the video.
Oh, come on.
We've made it to Vegas. We're at Extreme Couture MMA. I'm really excited because this is like one of the birthplaces of modern MMA, and we're gonna maybe spar Brad Tavares. We're gonna go through a workout with Coach Eric.
Buddy,
Nixick.
There's no maybe.
Oh, there's no mabies?
It's going down.
It's going down? Okay,
Brad
well,
Tavares.
I'm ready, but I'm excited. This is gonna be sick. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that we're about to do.
Justin, we're doing a few workouts before.
We're going to do a full workout before. It's going to be the Sicko Saturday workout.
Okay. Oh my God, okay.
Sicko mode.
Activated
a little early today.
Sicko mode. Let's go.
Listen, bro, I need you alive. I need you alive today.
I'm good, bro. I was worried. Now I'm not worried, bro. I'm good.
Now you're not worried. All of a sudden, you're not worried for some reason.
I was built for this, bro.
He's built like a Tonka truck.
Bro, I'm good. I'm telling you, I'm good. Let's go. I'm good. I'm in the zone right now, bro.
I know, but you're gonna fight a UFC fighter. That's a really bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. We're gonna do the workout.
I'm scared.
And we're gonna do the sparring, and we'll be okay, dude. Look at this. I'm in great shape, dude. I'm ready.
I get it, bro. Like, a part of it is we have to,
We cover the sport. You figure we have to know what it's like to be doing stuff in the octagon.
I mean, listen.
And that's why I set this up. You're getting freco, and I'm the one working out, dude. Okay.
I mean, but listen,
That's
dude.
fine. That's fine.
Oh, it feels amazing. It's 107 degrees in Las Vegas, guys. You know, the more I think about it, the less I worry about it.
Really?
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more I'm worried about it.
That time's evil. We're getting closer, so we should probably swap minds real quick. Yeah, we just saw Brad. He's huge. And Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Which is adds a little flavor to it. It just sounds more violent.
He's a beast, dude.
He's an animal. I think he's gonna get his ass kicked, and I need him for tonight's show.
Look, I promise Brad will take it easy on him.
Hey, you should do this with me.
No, that's what I'm trying to do. Do it with it.
Let's go, let's go.
I think you should do it.
There's no option. Let's go. Come on,
I'm
we're
gonna
fight you.
Okay,
Let's go.
kill it,
Okay.
dog. All right, you know what? I'll do it, bro. No problem.
Slow it down till you guys get it first, right? So I'm here. Boom, bing, boom, boom. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now I can pick it up a little bit. I can go again. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I'm getting it now. Now I can go. So jab. You're always gonna punch across. There you go. Hook, cross. Nice.
Jab, cross, jab, 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 combo.
Yep, so just ground and pound, heavy shots here. Yep, this bag trying to sleep with your mama. You'll kill this thing. Get your legs under you, and then use this wall
To push up.
get up. Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, up, 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 up. Nice. Nice, good work. Oi, let's go. Squeeze your hands together. Don't pull them on you. Get up. pull him off the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go.
But if I can do that, I can do offense through Christ. Let's go, buddy.
Yes, you can. I love that. Let's go.
Ready?
Let's go. I'm waiting.
We get this. Sumo wrestling. Let's go. Get wide in your piece. Sink down. Nice. Stop him. You watch fighting. Come on. Get back up. Get back up.
You gotta choke. Don't pull him on top,
There we go. Get up. Get off your knees. Kicks. Let's go.
Come on. Come on.
I feel like I'm watching on Richard Simmons fucking
Jazzercise.
infomercial right there.
Don't kick my elbows.
Let's go, cheerleaders. Come on.
Come on, let's go. Almost there, almost there.
Hey! Hands up. Hands up, Tony. Take a lap. Hands up. Show these judges optics.
That's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life physically.
All right, so how do you feel?
I don't think I'll ever see the sport the same way. And it's true what Justin was just saying to me. He was like, dude, when you look at the worst fighters in UFC, record-wise, those guys are still
Killers.
going to kill you.
He started hitting the bag where I was like,
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I need to stop hitting the bag because he's hitting it so hard that the reverberation of his kick is drowning out my kick. the idea was for me and Brad to get in the octagon together and exchange a couple, maybe a 3-minute round of
at
just
10% is what we
at
agreed
10%.
to. Tony wanted 20. I produced him down to 5, and
Sure.
we got the time.
But then all of a sudden, I finished hitting those kicks, right? We finished the round. I'm obviously a little tired, but I think I won the round. All of a sudden, I see Brad pick up his stuff, and he left.
No, I can't
he
believe
was
you're
not.
doing this.
He was not. He was like, "Hey, I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't want to. Whatever. I got
Wait
something
till
to do."
Billy Gill hears about what you're doing right now. So
I'm just saying.
So what you're suggesting is that
the idea was for us to spar, and then he left. He had to go. Coach, he was like, "Bro, you got a nice little combo.
Good hips, bro." Coach, he said I had a nice combo too. Like he coached me up, bro. Like the first time I did the combo, he goes, "You're doing this whole thing." And I'm like, "I got you, coach." And I was bought in. I'll fight Justin right now for that man.
Wow. Shout out to Coachy. Shout out to the boys at Extreme Couture. Shout out to Justin for setting all this stuff up. MMA Hangout on the road. Let's go.
They said bro more than Pablo says Peabody.
Your point? You ever been that tired? You only have a certain number of syllables that can come out at the same time.
I don't think most people know just how exhausting it is to fight a round. I'm not just MMA, box around like that. It's a whole different. Your legs go from just fear. Just it's.
Did you see Lewis's Jello legs as he was trying to kick? It was like
Lewis looked really bad by the end of it.
It was his left leg, to be fair.
Yeah, it was his left leg.
Yes.
So a little bit more on Sicko Saturday. So this is what I've been told the elite fighters that are getting ready for their fights. This is what they do on Saturdays, right? So they'll wrestle, they'll box Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday is the culmination of all those things where you basically do 4 different exercises or 5 different exercises for 30 seconds, then either hit the bag or kick, and you have to do that 5 minutes, 5 rounds. So it's the closest thing that you can do to simulate an actual MMA fight is what we did, and we did about 70% of it, of the first round
or
of 5.
just wrestle a bear. Do you guys know? Look at Lewis's body there. That is, I feel for him.
Lefties.
I feel for Lewis there. Tone that's not great for
Coach
Lewis
Nixick
there.
had to stop the workout a little early because Lewis was a color of red that he did not
Yeah.
really like. So he was worried. He's like, do we have the AED machine? Is it close? Does Lewis have chest hair? We may need to put the pads on him. But luckily, Lewis bounced back, and he's able to obviously do this and speak and breathe.
He did have you in a guillotine.
He got me in a guillotine. When I hit one with the double leg, he did get me in a guillotine. The problem is he needed to crank a little bit more and go back. I broke his hand, so that way I was able to get out. But he had me for about 4 seconds. He had me.
I've seen enough to know that you would kick Lewis's ass.
Thank you. And Kuglers too. Bring him out here. I'll beat his ass right now.
Enough with Lewis's nipples,
Why do we keep
please.
threatening people?
Enough with
to please Dan.
With
He's
Lewis's
very
nipples.
bloodthirsty.
I don't need any more of that.
Why did he shave his chest?
Mike, because it was going to be on camera. Mike pointed out that they have a Tom and Jerry vibe. Tony, do you even know what Tom and Jerry is?
Yeah. Cat and mouse game.
Okay,
Ice cream.
I only ask because I don't assume that young people will know what Tom and Jerry.
That's Ben and Jerry.
Who they are.
Oh.
I wanted to bring up something that I figured that you guys would be on top of on God Bless Football. I saw that Mostert took out the Dolphins for treating all pros like shit on Twitter. You guys are friends with Raheem Mostert, and one season with the Dolphins, he had 18 touchdowns. And so I was going to send you guys the note when I saw this on Twitter. I was going to send you guys the note to see if you should get Raheem Mostert on, because I haven't heard a lot of people with the Dolphins saying this as the business now breaks apart, the guys at the end who think that they were more valuable than how they were treated here. I don't think Jalen Ramsey should have any complaints about how he was treated here in any way, but Raheem Mostert is saying the Dolphins will treat you like shit. What do you make of this, and have you reached out already to Raheem Mostert for God Bless Football?
We needed Billy's reaction to this, so we recorded an episode yesterday, and we were texting back and forth with Raheem Mostert. Billy just bought a jersey.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Of Raheem Mostert after he left the Dolphins, and Mostert was playful. He was texting back and forth with me, but he couldn't come on because he was headed on vacation to Panama. So,
why'd you tell people where he was going?
It's a big country, Billy.
What hotel's he at?
You really didn't need to say where he was headed on vacation.
The canal, by the way,
was odd.
like in going back to the Everglades for a second, the canal seems like something I don't need to see if I go to Panama, right? I know some people like the idea of like I'm going to go through the Panama Canal. It seems like something you could skip, right? I've never been. Greg, you're a cruiser. I don't know if you've ever been through the Panama Canal.
I have not. It sounds like a theme park, though. It's something you should get on.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. But, you know, Raheem Mostert was talking about himself. He was the one who was treated like shit by the Dolphins. He scores 20 touchdowns, has 1,800 yards rushing, and the next year he's replaced by Achan. And all of a sudden,
younger, cheaper, faster, better.
He's the backup running back after a career year.
Right.
So that was a veil. You know, he wasn't talking about Jalen Ramsey. He was talking about himself.
That wasn't about Ramsey, by the way. That I think was more so about Jonnu Smith because he was saying Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
Because Jonnu wanted a new deal, and then they ended up shipping him off.
I mean, you could also say that they treat Pro Bowlers very well, even if they have chronic concussion problems, because Tua was a Pro Bowler, got a big fat contract. Hell, you could be a Pro Bowler and on your way to work and get arrested or detained, and they'll reward you no matter the optics. It seems as though Tyreek Hill, even when he begs to leave this franchise, the franchise won't get rid of him. So I think there's an argument against it. And Raheem Mostert has benefited from other franchises looking at that position being interchangeable. He made it to a Super Bowl with the Niners, and he got a starting role because in this Shanahan offense, and he learned down here when he set the franchise record for touchdowns, it's very interchangeable. He knows that better than anybody.
Tyreek Hill got that treatment because he's Tyreek Hill. I mean, I don't know if Mostert gets the same treatment if he gets arrested moments before a football game.
We just can't cover a blanket over Pro Bowlers, though, because they do pay guys.
To Billy's point, the Panama Canal, right? Like you figure like, oh, it's cool. It's like connects the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean and like whatever. Would you be proud enough to rep it as having it as like a bumper sticker on your car? Because I passed this car the other day and it was Canal Panama, and they had like a little like plate on it. Do you feel like that's something you'd be like, yeah, like I want that.
Like
I want to rep that.
They're tourists like, I went to the Panama
No,
Canal.
look at this. So look on video right now. It's just a bumper sticker of somebody's Kia, and it says Canal Panama, and it's a bunch of pictures of the
Just
Panama
proud
Canal.
of,
The memories,
proud of the region. Do you think that they grew up there?
Not even the region, the canal.
Just
is
the
what
canal.
they're proud of. I mean, do
like
they work
Panama,
on the-
okay, cool.
yeah.
Like, let's go, Panamanians.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's just
But
the canal.
Just the canal.
It seems like an extended parking lot, really, for boats, right? It's like you're there and you go 5 feet and they have to stop, and then they close the doors and the water raises, and then you go a little bit and you stop, and they close the doors and water lowers, and then you go a little bit. And it's kind of like I don't need to be moving constantly to stop and look at nothing.
You know what? The whole thing's a scam.
Yeah,
It's a hostage situation.
What?
They charge
really.
boats.
Now you're talking.
They charge boats thousands of dollars to go through the Panama Canal. It's a moneymaker. It's like their main economy.
Most people don't know this.
I don't know about
because it was
that.
recent, but 90% of it was recently sold to BlackRock.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is the Panama Canal just an extended parking lot for boats? And also put it on the poll, is the Panama Canal a scam, a hostage situation? At Le Batard Show. A couple of things that I did want to point out when Mike and you talk about disposable pieces at running back. You see the trade yesterday? The trade yesterday in basketball, when we talk about disposable pieces. Michael Porter, when he was a part of a champion, which was just a couple of years ago, he was quoted recently as Denver struggled, hey, we might be in a last dance situation. Of course, they're not in a last dance situation. It's only that Michael Porter's in a last dance situation. He was terrible in those finals with the Nuggets. He's an expendable piece, and now they go get Cam Johnson, who does all of the same things cheaper. Is all it is. All it is accounting. Is a player you may have liked who was a champion and who was a part of a starting five that when he was healthy was as talented as any in the league before they won the championship. He gets traded for a player who's just cheaper. They had to sign him to an extension.
I would say Cam Johnson is exactly what Cam Johnson is supposed to be. The problem with Michael Porter is a lot of people think he should be a lot better than Michael Porter is.
But Cam Johnson is on the ascent, was good in Brooklyn, and will do the same things cheaper. And I just wonder when I ask you guys about the humanity of some of this, as we do all of the accounting that this is. Raheem Mostert had a season. You said 20 touchdowns. It was 18 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving touchdowns.
I believe so.
But that you can make the argument it's among the best single seasons any human being has had in sports down here, and disposable. Totally disposable. What happens to the allegiances between customers and fan bases when the players are that disposable? That 1 year to the next, oh, the coach did the 18 touchdowns there, not the running back. The running back is interchangeable. Achane is cheaper and he's faster. He'll do the same thing.
There are very few running backs that bridge that gap with fandom. I think you're seeing it a little bit with Nick Chubb in Cleveland. Cleveland had a deep connection with that player, but I think sports fans are highly educated in this country when it comes to that position, and they know.
But what I'm saying, what's the cost of it when you make it that disposable? Yes, I understand that over the last 5 years we've been watching, oh, look at that. You have an assortment of players like Todd Gurley who come and go like that. Need him to win a championship, don't need him, done before he's 30, yeah, whatever. He was a flash, 4 years. NFL, not for long. When I ask you about the specifics of this one guy, you guys love him.
Yeah.
You guys have
bought his jersey.
You guys have a connection with this human being who scored 18
$39.
touchdowns in a season for the Dolphins.
I think when he scored his 16th that season, Billy told him to hold out. I mean,
I did tell him in the middle of that season to stop playing. I said you should hold out and get more money.
Having a
man.
year.
What are you doing?
Good advice.
I mean, you can imagine his frustration. He has a career year at age 30, old for a running back, and then the next year he's a discard. I don't blame him.
Well, he got hurt in that first game, to be fair.
True.
But this is what I would just ask you guys as we make all these guys disposable and totally interchangeable. Do you think that the ego it takes to get to the top of sports that Raheem Mostert, who is check out all the speed charts. They say the fastest runs are all him. He's faster than anyone in the league. And the one season he was used right, or felt he was used right, and was healthy, scored 18 touchdowns. Don't you think he thinks that's who he is? Or do you think he thinks he's the guy who doesn't score 18 touchdowns in a season?
I mean, he has a lot of seasons where he didn't score 10.
Okay, but what do you think he thinks he is, though? Like, in terms of self-awareness and ego when it takes to get to the top of sports, don't you believe that Raheem Mostert's self-assessment would be that he's fast enough and has proven enough that that's something that he feels like he could do again?
Yes. Ego always outranks self-awareness in athletes. Always.
Right. I'm certain he thinks he can do it again in the right situation with the proper amount of carries.
Nobody but him would think that, but you understand what I'm saying?
But didn't they give him a 2-year extension at the age of 30 after that season? I think they did, right?
He was hurt some last year.
Right.
And, again, Achane is faster.
Right.
There's always someone younger, cheaper, faster.
Always. Well, that position, yes.
But at any position.
Well, not quarterback, I mean.
He's also been discarded twice by the Dolphins. Like his rookie year, he was with the Dolphins and he bounced around a little bit, and then eventually he found a home in San Francisco. Then he comes back to Miami. He kind of proves, hey, you know what? Maybe you should have held on to me a little bit. He has the year that he had. He signs the extension, but then he gets discarded again. So I can understand why there's ill will there.
That position is so weird where the Eagles, without Saquon Barkley, were so close to beating the Chiefs 3 seasons ago, and then they get Saquon, they win the Super Bowl, but they could have won it without Saquon Barkley. They almost did.
Tony, we're going to play Kugler's game next. Are you rooting for it to
Wait.
fail?
It's going to be great. I'm going to text Roz on the side and be like, tank it.
You look so good in that video, man.
Thank you, buddy.
The press box has changed.
But Mike said it best. The press box has changed. I mean, seriously, get over yourself. We're going to talk during the post game. Tim Reynolds, enough. I mean, enough.
I mean,
seriously.
you just got to know when
You're
the
not allowed to cheer in the press box. Did you know that?
Well, I did.
They were cheering for Will Manso. I think that's allowed.
And Goldie.
If the Dan Le Batard Show comes to a hockey press box, hilarity is going to ensue.
Yeah.
They're going to yell at Will Manso for 7 minutes, and you're probably going to have to go to a stairwell to write, man. Like, it's just...
if it was 7 minutes, I'd get it.
It
was
is what
7
it is.
seconds.
Exactly. I mean, David, everyone else was saying hi. They were enjoying the show. They were laughing at us. But one guy is still clutching on to his newspaper deadline.
I'm a little
and it's
disappointed.
Tim Reynolds.
And is he your demographics, too?
I don't know.
I happen to like Tim a lot, and
Enough of
I
him.
imagine this was going to be like E.J. Raddick or something, but that's just a bad look for Tim Reynolds.
Listen, I went up to him afterwards.
This was the best part. Stugotz is like, I've known Tim for years. I'm going to go fix this. He walked to Tim and walked right back very quickly.
Yep.
It was a very quick interaction.
Well, he was writing. Okay?
He's on deadline. It's
enough of the deadline.
It's a work.
Don't defend him. I gotta get home. I feel like playoff hockey. I gotta get home. I mean,
yeah, we're on deadline too. We got to get that post game out.
It is a working press box. Tim Reynolds. In the frenzy and emotion of the last bit of content that we were making, was it Tony or Billy who accused Kugler of creating a game that Ross didn't understand the last time?
It was me. It was gold or good, and nobody knew what the hell it meant.
Okay, but I think she knew how
to
to play it. I think it was the rest of us that were confused, and it was a poor explanation. Kugler's got a new game for Ross that is going to be more difficult than that one. But, Ross, I don't remember. You tell me, and thank you for joining us. You got the game last time. It was the rest of us that weren't very good at it, correct?
We went with the flow. We just took it as it came, good as gold.
Yes, okay.
That means she doesn't know, Dan.
No.
I wanted to talk to you about the basketball transactions of the moment. Can you tell me which one you found most interesting? All of the players are signing with the same teams, it seems like, minor transactions. I thought the statement afterward was weird, but what did you find most interesting about the last couple of days?
Well, I thought the draft was exciting, first of all. Shout out to Kaman Maluak out of South Sudan. Love that for African basketball players. I actually got to know him when I was in Dakar in Senegal with the NBA Africa and BAL, the basketball league they create out there. And this is part of the globalization of the game. The NBA has been heavily investing in Africa, and there's going to be a lot more than just one Joel Embiid or one Pascal Siakam. So that was exciting. I'm interested in the Mike Brown rumors as a head coach for the Knicks, perhaps. I got to know him really well in my time with the Warriors, and he's obviously a very accomplished coach. I heard Dawn Staley got an interview. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, can we talk about that for a second? How would that go? What are your thoughts there? She would be immediately the most high-profile candidate they could possibly get to replace Tom Thibodeau. It would be the splashiest hire that you could possibly make.
It would win the headline or be a headline. I don't know. It depends on who's reading the headline. Dawn's highly respected. She's a winner. She's done it on the Olympic level, on the collegiate level. She's won as a pro player. But she is, I think the Knicks made a splashy move in moving Tom Thibodeau and moving Tibbs and not really having a great plan on what the next move would be.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I've been a fan of that team my entire life. I have a better headline, though. LeBron, player, coach with the Knicks. How about that?
It's illegal against the CBA.
Wow.
Now that's not
for LeBron.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we'll bring Bronny over as well. We'll make it a whole thing.
Bronny can coach, yes. Yeah.
Other than the part about it being illegal, though, Mike, I think it's a great idea for splashing.
Well, hold on a second.
What? 2 rings?
Wait. Whoa. What if the Knicks hire Bronny to be their head coach, not intending to play him, knowing that then LeBron is actually the coach?
That's what Ross was getting to.
Yeah.
It's chess, not checkers, guys.
I'd like to bounce around the league a little bit with you. Jaren Jackson Jr. for $240 million. Thoughts there?
You know what? That's the money and the going price for these players. Jaren Jackson, in some ways, hasn't been everything that we thought he was going to be, especially early in his career. But I also think the momentum in the past couple of years, when we look at Memphis, has been so staccato and up and down with disruptions from Ja Morant to moving coaches to just it's hard to see what a player actually has. So I think, and now with Desmond Bane gone, I feel like it's hard to get the best out of someone when there's so much tumultuous energy within an organization.
Can I get a ruling from you as an ambassador of sorts? Is Mike Ryan allowed to not like Angel Reese?
You are entitled to your opinion, full stop. But what's your reason?
Oh, this was positioned the wrong way. I personally have no problem with Angel Reese, but I'd like to dislike her if I actually had a problem with it. And it seems as though on social media and the fan base around WNBA, there's a very protective ecosystem around WNBA players. And I would make the argument that equality means hating Angel Reese just as much as I irrationally hate Terry Rozier, and people need to be okay with that.
Scary Terry.
You know, I actually think like the freedom for fandom is really important as the WNBA grows, and like it's okay. I think one of the things that's helped the WNBA grow is movement away from all the girls are the best in the world and the most positive and this and that. You've got different reasons you like different players. These are complex people, you know, like there's players that talk a lot of trash. There's players that flop. There's players that, you know, are fashionistas. And I like that it's evoking an emotion out of you. Here's where I push back. When you're trying to make analysis on the quality of how good a player that she is, based on those emotions and not actual facts.
Right, but I want to irrationally hate people the way that I irrationally hate Terry Rozier, which is like a bad example because, as we all know, Terry Rozier is garbage. But if there were other players...
No, we're not going to do that.
Excuse me. Let's head to arbitration. You prove that he's not garbage. You prove that he's not garbage. I like my hand. Either way, I hate Paul Pierce. Hall of Fame player. Champion. Hate him. Think he sucks. Just a bad guy. I want to be entitled to irrationally hate players, and it seems as though in the WNBA I'm not afforded that ability.
I think more than anyone, though, Angel Reese gets hated on based off of irrational logic, alternative facts, emotions. Just I don't like her type vibes.
Yeah, that's good. And that's good shit right there. More of that.
That's more. She gets that more than any player in the W.
Yeah. All right. Equality. We did it.
I'm not sure that it comes from a healthy place though. Like what is it that you're just like?
That's what irrational is. Honestly, no one else is like saying what about Terry Rozier's feelings on the men's side.
This is what sports fandom is.
I want to hate people because they wear another uniform.
What?
Are you willing to say she's a talented player?
I mean, again, not the perfect case study because I don't really care one way or another when it comes to Angel Reese, but I would like that liberty. Not the New York liberty. I would just like the liberty to hate her irrationally, and it'd be okay with everybody.
Well, this is the part I'm not okay with. It's not just that she became the fastest player in league history to reach 150 rebounds, 50 assists in a single season, fastest player to score 500 points, 500 rebounds. It's using the words hate and garbage is where I'm stopping you. That's it. Just to stop. I mean, a note shy of hate and garbage.
All right. Well, same energy for Terry Rozier. Would you like to defend him with the same kind of fervor?
I don't think he's garbage.
Okay
you don't? He was just investigated for fixing games, and he was proved to be innocent, which means he's just that bad. He's making $26 million. Come on.
That is weird, right? Where
your defense is like,
no, I'm just not good at basketball.
Come on.
Like, and the judges
hate him.
Confirmed he's bad at basketball.
What reason has he given you to not hate him?
Say you hate him. No, I don't.
These guys are nuts. I couldn't imagine passing up millions of dollars on contracts to fix games and blow a beautiful financial future for myself. Where is the common sense in the NBA with some of these players getting mixed up in this stuff? Allegedly, nothing has been proven yet.
Let's have a nice little betting scandal in the W, too.
Wow. Rozier has, it's actually been proven that Rozier was not fixing games. So there is, it's been disproven that
it's been proven that he's garbage.
Yeah, he's a garbage player then. That was him
The judge
just
read
playing.
that part, I think.
That was just him balling.
Mike versus Terry Rozier in the octagon.
Let's do it.
Found innocent of rigging games and guilty of garbage.
I know Roz is going to be on my side with this. I'm just saying that somebody who gets to the top of a professional sport, top 1% of the 1% while fighting people for money in the world at basketball, that person shouldn't be referred to as garbage. That's all.
But what if he's compared to all the other players in the league? I understand. I'm garbage at basketball compared to Terry Rozier.
Yeah. Right.
But Terry Rozier compared to your average NBA player.
I'll step up though, like just to say, like what Angel Reese is doing in the WNBA, specifically in rebounds, and also in the way she's been playing in the last like five or six games now. She's not comparable to Terry Rozier. We're talking about a player who will rewrite history books, who is on a path to be one of the most historic and legendary players of her position.
I mean,
and like she had a rough start this season, but to compare her to Terry Rozier is misleading.
Yeah.
And if you are going to have a rational and not fair analysis, I think you as an analyst can be judged upon that too. Are you okay with that? Being judged upon that irrational and not true or fair analysis?
Totally. Yeah. I've done it for 20
Okay,
years.
well then cool.
Super cool with that. Also, again, I got no problem with Angel Reese, but now I think I do.
It
So
sounds
Angel
like
Reese,
it, dude.
we got beef now because I knew Dan
But
was
she
going to
is
set
not
me up for this
comparable to
bullshit.
Terry
I hate it.
Rozier. She is not comparable. You're talking about one of the historic potential second-year players who has the potential to be like a legendary player in the entire game of women's basketball.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for this. Now I'm an anti-Angel Reese guy. What
Yeah.
all I said is I wanted the freedom to hate on Angel Reese, which now you
do
got
have
it.
the freedom to hate.
It's
you do
on
have the
now.
freedom of
Mike,
fandom.
just say she's a talented player. That's all she's saying. Say
I don't want to anymore because now you've pushed me into irrationally
No,
hating her. You
but it-
back me into a corner, the claws come out. That's what happens.
But if you compliment her on the front end, saying she's one of the greats of all time, she's going to be one of the greats of all time, I just don't like her.
Well, if
You're
it
good.
were onboarded properly, I wouldn't have to do that. But now you back me into a corner.
One of the things. Hold on a second here.
Sounds like Dan did this to you.
Dan did.
Minor penalty, 2
Lashing
minutes,
out.
asshole.
Jeez.
Trying to help you.
Asshole, now who's being like
Wow.
irrational?
We're going to play this game with Roz in a second, but
Exciting.
the thing that's problematic here is that Angel Reese is being an avatar for whatever it is that people want to put on her. But what she is, though, is a bully. She's physically a bully, and not a whole lot of people can do anything about it. And so those don't tend to be liked very much across sports. Even Shaquille O'Neal
We liked Oakley.
being bigger and strong. Yeah, but we liked Oakley. Is there such a thing as somebody that is in the history of this sport? Has there been anybody who's played this physically to put up these numbers because she's being physically bullying?
Angel's tenacity on the glass has never been seen. And like she is just magnetic to the rebounds. But I also think too, like when she's caught in motion with the ball in her hand, she's done a nice job of assisting, finding her teammates lately. She's been a playmaking post lately. It's shown some growth. She's extended her range. She's taking more threes now. I mean, these are things you'd notice, you'd have to watch. And I think with Angel, so many people have very strong opinions and haven't maybe watched. I'm curious if Ryan, did he watch Angel Reese play this season? I'd love to know if he's watching the game.
He's sulking
Ryan
in the
has
other
it.
room. Let's
Neither
play
is
this
Mike.
game. She's
Yeah.
got to get out of here. Watch, listen, and subscribe to Good Follow. She's doing a spectacular job on it. She's on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. The game is gold, silver, bronze, or did not podium, or did not podium. So
Wow.
it is wordy, but
Rolls right off the tongue.
Christ.
Gold,
Roz or Nas?
silver, bronze.
Well,
or
hold on. Do you know how the game works, Roz? This is how it works. It's essentially blind ranking. So you're going to get a name, and then you have to say, is this person gold, silver, bronze, or not podium? But you're not going to know who's coming next.
And there are four. There are four in
Dangerous
each category, and you're only going to pick three. Are you ready? So, like, I'm going to give you four in each category.
Well,
and
no. You read one at a time, and
Yeah.
then she says where that person
Right.
goes.
That's
Gold,
correct.
silver, bronze, or
Thank
not
you.
podium.
That's
Complicated
So
game.
start with that top name and let her rank
All
that
right.
name. There's only going to be
All right.
four.
Rank
Gold,
Right.
silver, bronze.
music.
Okay.
Not
For
podium.
the thinking.
Okay,
yeah.
give me the music.
Well, no, you have to
please.
say it first and then the music. Yeah.
Gold, silver, bronze,
Wait.
or did not podium.
You don't worry about the music, Roz. I got that.
Yeah.
Wait,
Wait,
Yes.
hold on.
so there's only four categories that each
Yeah.
one can be one.
No, there's four
Oh.
slots. Yeah.
Yes,
Not
you
confusing.
don't know
Yeah.
what's coming.
Yeah.
You just have to say
Yeah,
gold,
exactly
silver, or
right.
bronze. And I'm telling you in advance, I'm going to give you four choices, and you're going to only be able to get
This is
three
great.
who medal.
Well, one's
Okay.
not going to podium.
There's only
exactly.
four answers. I only have four things
That's
I can
right.
say. I got
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
only
I
three
can- I
slots.
can
Be
handle
careful.
that.
It's a dangerous
Yeah.
game.
Really
you know?
easy,
Lots
though.
only.
Really easy to
Give me the
understand.
music.
Okay,
Give me the
so-
music.
And at the end of that, you're going to spar with someone.
Kugler.
Unless they leave.
Okay,
Give
and
me
then
the
it's a
music.
fight to
She's
the end.
gotta
Got it.
go.
Okay.
She has to
Yeah.
go.
We're ready.
Not podium.
Play the
The
music.
music is after the choice. It's thinking music.
Right.
I'll just play it.
What's the
What are the rules
prize?
again?
No prizes.
Okay.
The prize is my laughter at the
Prize.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Gold.
Ryan's back.
Don't say gold or anything. Just give a name and let her put him on the podium. That's it.
She's got to go. Hello, Ryan. Welcome back.
Real shame.
Ryan, have you watched Angel Reese play a game this season, this WNBA season?
He's going to Chicago this weekend just to
Tell
see
the
her.
truth. Have you watched a WNBA game of Angel Reese this season?
No.
Yeah.
That's
What?
my
Off the podium.
Yeah. I will happily admit that I don't watch the W. I do watch women's college basketball. I don't have the fan width to watch the W. Don't really like it. And in America, it's a safe space that I can probably say that.
How can you have such a strong opinion? You've never watched her
That's
play.
not fair, Roz. That's what sports radio is all about.
Irrational.
He wants the ability to hate her for no reason, like he hates men for no reason.
Freedom to
Exactly.
hate. Right. Freedom to hate.
This is crazy.
It is. You are
Okay, let's play the game.
Yeah.
Let's play the game.
Roz has to go.
But she's
Ryan did not podium. That's my first answer. Ryan did not podium.
Podium. All right.
He wasn't
Nafisa Collier, gold, silver, or bronze?
We're not podium.
Gold.
Caitlin Clark.
Bronze.
Ooh.
Asia Wilson.
Silver.
Angel Reese.
I guess she didn't podium.
You don't like her either, you see? What is that? Apologize to Ryan. Apologize to Ryan.
This was a setup from the start.
It was.
It was a total setup.
It was a setup. You and I are aligned. You and me, both set up.
We framed her.
Okay, now can Ryan and I get in a boxing match again and fight to the death? Like,
That's
what is
not
going on
equality.
here?
Roz, thank
equality
you.
there.
Good seeing you. Good follow. Follow, listen, and subscribe. Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Long live Angel Reese.
That is correct.
Man,
You just kept her off the podium.
I am truly a courageous voice in media. Nobody out there doing what I'm doing.
Glad we got to that game.
There is no one else saying WNBA. Nah, I'm good.
Stayed up all night for that game.
I've seen so many people consult ChatGPT on W takes. One thing I don't see you.
The all-time handles tier. I want to get to it because we promised it earlier, and I can't believe that we have a list that is in the Stugotz wheelhouse that has taken us 2 hours, 2 segments, just 2.5 hours to get to. Let's get to these tiers on all-time handles. When I say Greg Cody, this is a good one for you, Greg. Yeah. You doing okay?
Sure.
All-time handles. Do you know what we're talking about?
Well, handle has several definitions. I'm
Right,
not
but
sure.
do you know which one we're talking about?
No.
Cabinetry.
Nicknames, I assume you mean?
No,
Yeah.
a good guess. But we're talking
guess.
about basketball handles, like
Okay.
somebody who is a maestro at dribbling.
Ability to dribble.
Who do you think of?
Everybody in the NBA. I mean,
Yeah.
who's
Good
not,
answer.
No.
who's
Good
not,
answer.
who's not a good dribbler?
Manute Bol.
Okay,
Just make sure to say Caitlin Clark.
Jalen Brown left-handed.
Why doesn't Greg
Oden.
come up with his top 5 nicknames while Stugotz does his top 5 handles?
Fine, that's fine. Greg, you do top 5 handles the way that you were going to do it, and then we're going to go to the all-time handles tiers list here from Fast Break Hoops. You've got Allen Iverson and Kyrie Irving on the top tier. That one sort of goes without saying, right? Kyrie Irving, I would say that universally people would put Kyrie Irving above Allen Iverson.
Yeah,
would
he's
they
number
not?
1 as far as handles league-wide.
You're giving Allen Iverson more credit than I'm giving him by putting him on the same class as Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is the best dribbler I have ever seen, has the best ball control I have ever seen. But Steph Curry is pretty good with a basketball too, in terms of just handles.
I mean, I'm with Mike. The disrespect to Pistol Pete. Where
This
is
is
he?
bullshit.
Right.
This is bullshit. See, tier 3, there is one person there that did it with their hand over the ball. Okay, because when I went to Westwood Christian, I was instructed by Pistol Pete himself via VHS.
Wow.
All right, and he told me how to play the game the right way. Everybody else carries.
Let me get to the rest of this, though. Jamal Crawford, there's the second tier, okay? And it's Isaiah Thomas, Steph Curry, and Jamal Crawford. Tony, you don't like that.
Zeke, I feel like we could push Zeke down a little bit.
Out of there.
I don't think a whole lot of people would object if I put Jason Williams where Zeke is, even though Zeke was a better basketball player by leaps and bounds. I don't think, like Jason, the third tier here of Chris Paul,
This is a mean tier right here.
Wow.
I mean, James Harden carries like a son of a gun.
The third.
Congratulations on being able to dribble.
Yeah, James Harden, get him out of there. Remove him entirely. But the rest of that is good.
The third tier is Jason Williams, Tim Hardaway, Pistol Pete, James Harden, and Chris Paul. It's a good tier.
It is. I feel like Hardaway should be tier 2, though. Maybe Jason Williams as well.
I'm shocked. With tier 4, I guess they're accounting for size.
Well, Steve Nash has to be in the top 3 tiers. How can tier 4?
He wasn't super flashy with it, though. He just had a great handle.
But when Dan puts it that way, I mean, Steve Nash and Kevin Durant occupying the same tier. KD. I mean, you could swipe him easy. He's just too big.
You've got Marbury and Francis on that 4th tier.
I like it.
Stevie franchise.
All right, and they just don't want to disrespect the Kobe stands and Jordan stands with tier 5.
The thing that I notice on these top 4 tiers is because these people are of a similar size, how ridiculous it is that Kevin Durant at his size is in these 4 tiers when all of these people are small. Every last one of them has to. If you think of that sport as survival of the fittest, like a literal thing, survival of the fittest, the smaller people have to develop advantages that make up for their lack of size and handles. Everyone here is at least under 6'4". Everyone, I'm looking at this list. Look, is there anyone? Was Jamal Crawford 6'5"?
I don't think Kevin Durant's a better.
Jay Crossover is like 6'5".
Do you think Durant has better handles than LeBron? I don't.
LeBron's not anyone. He's not on here. LeBron's not in any of the 5 tiers.
It's ridiculous to have Durant over LeBron in this discussion.
Is that Havlicek?
Hondo.
Is it? I can't see because it's kind of far away. But is it Havlicek?
There's got to be a.
No,
you got
I
to
don't
have your
think so.
own tier if you dribbled with your hand over the ball. Everybody else is just carrying.
Yeah, bunch
He's
of travelers.
Yep. They're cheating.
Have you tried to play basketball the way that the modern day players do? It's much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Much easier. If you're allowed to put
You're
your
right.
hand over the ball,
Yes.
go over. It's way easier.
Game now. Yeah.
I love AI as much as any. I was a '90s kid. Love Allen Iverson. Carried a lot.
Is Magic not on there?
Imagine Magic not being on there.
I don't see him on there.
We can't be given aggregate sites like this, engagement bait sites like this, the time of day. Every time I see Big Game Boomer, oh, really, Big Game Boomer? You went to San Jose State's tailgate, did ya? And then it just gets circulated and gets 1 million likes. It's BS.
Can you please go over there and get the gearhead? I need to. Yes, Greg is struggling. He's coughing. He's sneezing. He's been running his nose. There have been tissues all over the floor here. Is everything okay? You seem a little bit tired. You seem a little out of sorts.
I'm a little under the weather.
Yeah.
I pressed the cough button, though, so I don't know that.
But are you okay?
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Yeah. No, I'm fine.
Worried about you? I'm also a little worried about the timing of this bit. It's niche, to say the least, and I've already been positioned as a sexist just very recently.
I didn't position
well,
you
you
that
fought
way.
for the
You
ability to be a
positioned
sexist.
That's my I guess.
You fought for the ability to hate.
And you won.
Well,
Congrats.
I
You're
didn't
sexist.
see. The thing is, I didn't see gender.
Oh.
To me, I'm the most forward-thinking gender equality guy that there is.
Mm-hmm. Really? Are you that the way
most?
that Greg is the opposite of prude? Like you're the most gender equality person there is.
I truly don't know what she was talking about. Like espousing the virtues of Angel's game. That's cool. I want to hate them. Yeah. Let me hate them. I said it on the.
She missed the point. Yeah.
I want to be able to hate somebody irrationally on social media. I want to be toxic. This is something that I'm afforded when it comes to men, but when it comes to women, it seems to be an issue.
Yes, and probably should continue to be an issue for as long as I don't think
America's
you should
got work to do.
Yeah,
you're perpetrating a separation, Dan. Is what you're doing.
Yes, you position me as a sexist when all I want is equality.
No, I did not. Exactly. I said I asked Roz if you had permission to hate Angel Reese. That's what I said. I didn't position you as
and
a
it was
sexist.
denied, but I don't actually hate Angel Reese, but now I do because of that segment.
You guys are setting this up all wrong. Mike just wants to be able to hate a woman for no reason at all.
Thank you.
As opposed to for being a woman.
I mean, look at that. I don't like
whatever
your tone,
his reason
dude.
is.
What are you
his
doing
reason,
there?
Not mine.
They're his reasons, Dan.
Exactly
I don't like
right.
your tone.
5 reasons.
I don't know. Brad Marchand is a. Do I just hate French Canadians now? That's my thing.
I don't know. Is it?
I'm not.
Do you want it
crazy
to be
about
your
it. Yes, I would. I like the option.
Can you hate Canadians, Dan, for no reason other than being
French Canadians?
Yes.
I feel like the French are.
Is that
I
fine?
feel like that's the last place that everyone's allowed to hate. I thought
French?
the French. Yes.
Let me be a free thinker. Like half this country wake up one day, decide I am free to hate Canada finally. Thank God.
Nope. I believe that we're only there with France. I don't believe that we're there for – and it's just – and with France also gets this. It's just look at you.
Mhm.
It's your face.
Well, we get that too. Have you ever gone over there as a tourist?
Oh, no.
They're
Well,
not
we
too
get
fun.
that all over the world.
Yeah.
Of course, but I'm saying that the French are the last place where I could be at a microphone and say some form of, don't like the French.
And everyone understands.
And everyone's like, that's still allowed today. We might get that.
We're with you, Dano. Yeah.
Sounds like America's sponsored by the haters. Am I right,
Attaboy,
Tony? There we go.
finally.
There you go.
Long play coming, by the way.
So let me ask you guys a question. If the president gets his way and Canada becomes a 51st state, then are you just hating yourself?
No, because then we just count electoral votes and we realize he's just guaranteed liberal control of the country forever.
How do you feel about putting on that hat with that mustache, that Angel Reese take, and your general love of NASCAR and making it MAGA Mike Mondays?
Whoa!
What?
You said that hat. It was also confusing.
No.
Oh,
No?
he said no.
Jason, get to work on that.
Yeah, Jason just kind of does whatever he wants.
Imaging.
So.
No.
Yeah.
We're not.
Red Hat Mondays, it sounds
We're
like.
not doing that one.
Was Bob Cousy on the list?
Kyle Larson.
Is that
Cousy?
Well, there was a white Celtic in there, but I couldn't see with my glasses. It was so far
It's
away.
too
I didn't
far,
know whether it was Hondo or Cousy. I didn't know who it was.
Probably not
There,
Dave
on the
Collins.
second tier, the fourth tier, I see he's next to Nash. I don't know who that fourth guy is either. Is that Kemba Walker? Who's that fourth guy?
Huh.
Oh, is that Dame?
That does look like Kemba. Is that Steve Francis?
Yeah,
Yes,
Stevie
Francis and
Franchise.
Marbury are
Yeah.
on the fourth tier with Durant.
Is that Rondo down there?
Yeah,
And
Rondo,
no Cousy?
John Wall. Yeah, that's Kemba.
Kemba making the fourth tier.
That's kind of.
KD better handles than Derrick Rose.
Again, stop giving this person.
That's
the time
Kemba
of day.
better handles than Michael Jordan and Kobe, and Dame and Derrick Rose.
Who's
and,
the white guy?
and Rondo?
We're the whites.
Steve Nash.
Cody,
He's Canadian.
Cody, we need your help here on who's the second Celtic. This is your age, right next to Steve Nash. This is your age. How do you not know who this is? This is absolutely your wheelhouse.
I believe that is a young Bob Cousy.
Yeah, I believe Greg
Yes.
is right. Yes.
A script for NASCAR? Yeah.
That's
Said that
Bob
in your
Cousy.
headphones.
I think Greg also has like a top 5
The Coos.
list of nicknames, right?
Yes, top
No.
5 handles from Greg Cody.
I only have one.
Okay, good
Oh,
work
good.
by you
That's
today.
good.
Oh, he's
We're
under the
going
weather.
straight
Oh,
to
allergies,
half.
Dan.
So,
COVID
so I
plus.
asked you to prepare a top 5 list. You stared, you looked around, you didn't do anything, and then you said, "I've got one."
Yeah, well, I'm not
You know what?
feeling
Don't
well.
even want
The
it.
rare
Okay,
top
good.
one
Hold
list.
Hold on,
even
game
want
show
it.
music.
Then you're
Hold on a
never going to
second.
have it.
Okay.
I'm not even going to show you.
I mean,
Can I see
Gold,
it?
silver,
No.
bronze. Didn't make the
Why?
podium. Very long-winded answer. I
Oh,
spent all
boy.
night on this. Go ahead, Greg.
I like that game actually.
No,
We
he said he
trapped
didn't
her.
want it.
Formal
No,
appeal
gold,
on any.
silver, or bronze. Not you. I don't.
Oh.
I don't want your game
Okay,
anymore.
fine. It's a
saying it
beautiful
on the air.
handle.
So
I'm not
there's-
wondering now who the one was, though. It's going to eat
Nope,
us all
That
day.
is true.
Okay.
Want there to be record that I strongly oppose MAGA Mike Monday or any variation.
You want it on
of that.
Tuesday? or-
Yeah. No, preferably on Wednesdays. Wow. Let's pick them on Wednesdays.
You can have Wednesday if you want.
Sweet. Yeah, let's talk. You want to talk some racing? You want to talk some left turns? We're mixing in some right turns this week in Chicago, but let's talk about the Atlanta race. I mean, it's essentially a super speedway. Incredible race. It was TNT's first race with their package, and it was incredible. Multiple big ones. DraftKings unveiled this in-season tournament that featured head-to-head matchups. It was a bracket challenge, and damn near all the lower seeds won because of the chaos that was on this track. But you had incredible racing, especially down the stretch. You had Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott teaming up to effectively make sure that Brad Keselowski would not win a race, and you had great thrills as two really popular drivers that have been waiting a long time for a win on the NASCAR circuit battle it out, and Chase Elliott wins his first race in 44 races. That is NASCAR's most popular driver in his hometown track. It was absolute scenes. But this week, I'm actually headed to Chicago. Second straight year I've done this for the 4th of July weekend.
Nice.
Going to the Chicago Street Race, which is incredible, down at Grand Park, side of Lollapalooza, and doing something really cool with DraftKings and Cuervo. They're teaming up for the Ultimate Street Race Party at Joy District, 112 West Hubbard Street, Saturday, July 5th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Come through for drinks, racing, vibes, giveaways, Xfinity Series races going on that day. Zach Brown Band concert is a part of all the festivities. This isn't your traditional NASCAR race because the infield is where they hold Lollapalooza. So you got concerts, activations, incredible opportunities to meet and greet with some of the circuit's greatest drivers. And for a street race, I really hope the weather holds up because this one has promise. The Xfinity Series race last year was one of the best street races I've ever seen, with Larson and Van Gisbergen doing battle. But for whatever reason, the Cup Series has just never had the benefit of good weather. If you have a sunny day in summertime shy, downtown, with all those buildings around it, it should be picturesque. And for a street course, really good racing. So I'm excited about that. And just whatever happens, we cannot have a repeat of last year where Alex Bowman somehow wins.
You mentioned Kyle Larson, though. What is the video setup that is required here for somebody throwing an F-bomb into the sky? What is the context that this video with Kyle Larson requires?
So Formula One fans got super excited because there was chaos in their most recent race, and they don't know chaos. Chaos is a NASCAR race, especially super speedway racing. So this will put you in Kyle Larson's car as a spotter is talking to him, helping him navigate the chaos that's in front of him. Kyle Larson, one of the few big-name drivers that didn't get caught up in this mess, and it was by expert-level driving and expert-level spotting. Here's the video.
Back middle lane now. Tight, reckon in front of you. Reckon, hold it straight, watch 20. Check up, middle, watch 12, watch, check. Keep coming, up.
That's crazy.
Holy
Great job. Really good heads up.
Yeah.
It's absolute chaos. Let's throw up one more time just as B-roll. You don't need the sound there. But these cars are going, at this point, 170 miles per hour.
And everyone's fishtailing.
No one's in control of their car. Kyle Larson's had some really good moments this season and some tough luck this season. Somehow avoids this. This is the same spotter that went at Kyle last year when Denny Hamlin was kind of bullying him a little bit, and he's like, he pulls that move because you let him, and he got all sassy, and Kyle Larson was like, dude, shut the fuck up. Seems like they made up.
Have you guys been scared like that? That's happened to me a couple of times in a fishtailing car, one time spinning on a highway.
When you're drafting on the highway, Dano?
It was not while drafting, but it was just, I did not know in Bristol, Connecticut how to drive in snow as a Miami guy. Wasn't aware that you got to use your brakes differently, so I just didn't know. Nobody taught me that. You got to have special tires. Have you guys ever been in a fishtailing car? It's horrifying.
Yeah, when it's raining down the Florida Turnpike, not fun. Also, there was one time I was driving to Tallahassee for an FSU game. That's the only reason I'd ever be in that crap town. And I was driving an Excursion, and I was going about 75 on the Panhandle, blew a tire, somehow saved everybody's life.
You are filled with hate today. No need for Tallahassee to
it's
take
a crap
that
town.
sideswipe. It's unnecessary. I wanted to talk to you guys about something. I mentioned this a couple of times. It was an Adam Schefter report talking to an NBA executive. An NBA executive who said that whoever won the lottery in the NBA this year and got Cooper Flagg was literally winning a lottery that would be worth between $500 million and $1 billion to be able to get Cooper Flagg. And it's not just the potential of Cooper Flagg. I think what's unstated there, or is it unstated? You tell me if you hear a lot being talked about in this realm. It's white American Cooper Flagg being great at basketball. Who is the last great white American player? And
Larry Bird.
When I talk about this, I do want you to understand that for a few years now, I have been saying the language barrier makes it so that when Giannis crosses it charmingly, fighting through his second language to do so, he becomes an international superstar and beloved in this country. But it's been harder for the personality of Jokic to cross the language barrier, for Luka's personality to cross the language barrier. I'm not talking about guys who are great at basketball. They obviously are. I'm talking about foreigners who are great at basketball, which we identify as our game. And furthermore, the game has been fed for 50 years. On the starting point was the racial rivalry between Larry Bird and Magic. That's ground zero on where we went from tape delay to international stardom. And rest assured, the race was a big part of it. It's not just that they were great. It's that one of them was black and one of them was white. Cooper Flagg has a chance to be something bigger than what? Kevin Love? Like,
Yeah.
who are the white Americans that we even go to in the last 20 years as foreigners keep coming over and Joel Embiid tries to reach you where he can over the language barrier and does.
It has to be Kevin Love or Alex Caruso.
I've got news
Birdman.
for you. It's not just the whites. I've heard Bomani talk about this and why there were so many hopes and how Ja Morant moved the needle, because we're essentially in the middle of a new generation of basketball where the biggest, most elite stars in that sport aren't American. Even the reigning MVP is Canadian. He just signed for $285 million in extension today. Ja Morant, a lot of hopes were on him to be like the American hooper that gets people reinvigorated and replaces
like
the Durant.
Derrick Rose did once upon a time.
Yeah, and it just, with Ja, a lot of it's been his own doing, but there hasn't been like that new talisman as an American. Certainly when it comes to a white American basketball player in that league, we haven't seen it for quite some time, because as great as Kevin Love was, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He didn't capture the imagination the way that Caitlin Clark is. And I think you look at the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, yeah, she's an incredible hooper too, but part of it is, we can't ignore this, is she's an American white. It helps. And so if Cooper Flagg is as good as advertised, and they've been advertising him since he was 16 years old, this is going to be a big deal for the league.
And I'd add to that, though, beyond the race element, this is something that always, where phenomenons are, these catch in ways that are unusual, and it's unusual to say about a white American. But whether it is Jeremy Lin, Fernando Valenzuela, Dontrell Willis, whatever you think of as sports phenomenons that cross over where all of a sudden it's Good Morning America, Robin Roberts. What's this ethnic thing over here? The white American is that in basketball as a novelty. It's just like, wait a minute, what do you mean we're going to get something different than what Nick Collison gets when he runs on every court for the last 20 years, which is everyone shouting, "Shooter!" even though he's not.
Largely role players now. It's true. I mean, the white American basketball player that is an elite all-star in that sport it's of a bygone era. And if Cooper Flagg strolls into the league, he's going to stroll into the league that hasn't seen it for 20 years.
You guys may not like this answer, but the person you're talking about is Tyler Hero, right?
That is the answer, Tony.
All-star.
Yes.
And
yes,
it's like,
yes.
Has he taken the nation by storm? He's got a song with Jack Harlow that uses his name, but like even that doesn't breach like pop culture the way it does.
But remember, they made their deep runs with him injured. The rookie run that he put, was it 40 points in the bubble, an incredible performance there. Remember how outsized the reaction was for Tyler Hero. If he makes deeper runs, yes, he's an all-star right now, but he's a total afterthought in the league. Thanks a lot, Pat. Great first day of free agency, by the way. Like, he will certainly ascend, and he will become a big deal.
You're not wondering who that person on Greg's list is? It's killing me.
Can you tell us, Greg, please?
I need to know. I need to know. You'll never know.
No one will ever know. Literally. You never know. No, I can't now. My pride won't let me.
Pride of a lion.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Is it Gary the Bag?
It is not.
Oh, that's a good one.
Might not even be a human being.
Really?
Yeah.
Now we need to.
Might not.
But it might be.
You'll never know. You.
No.